15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Felt like more teams were blowing it yesterday than were winning football games. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Thank you so much to Lions Radio for that one. Exciting. Perloff, hello, good morning. How are you?
Fine.
Better than the Texans offense?
Yeah, we're talking. The theme today is blowing it. I don't know if the Texans blew it. They just could not get a first down the entire second half. So what's blowing it? They just stunk. What's the difference between blowing it and just not being a good team right now?
Well, a fine line, I guess. We'll have to get the Merriam-Webster's definition. But no, I think this was definitely a Texans blow-it situation. It falls into the category of other teams who totally blew it. And unfortunately for Houston, this has become a bit of a trend. They have not scored a second-half touchdown since they played the Patriots, and that was weeks ago. This has been something where, all right, it happens one time, it happens a second time, but now it's become really like the book is out on them. They have been outscored by 59 points after halftime. That's 31st in the league. And again, no points in the second half yesterday. C.J. Stroud, 68 yards and 2 interceptions in the second half. I mean, when you saw that the Lions were starting to get the momentum back and you need a first down to avoid this crazy collapse, then you got to get that first down. And I'm sorry, we've set the bar very high for C.J. Stroud and the Texans, and right. I don't think we were off by that as the public.
Yeah, I think we're underestimating the Nico Collins injury, though. If any other contender lost their 1A receiver, there was a stat that flashed last night. He is not just the best receiver in the NFL per game. He's 20% better than the guy right behind him. Like, he is basically their entire offense, and he's gone. If take the Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb, take the Eagles without A.J. Brown, like they're hamstrung because they have no receiver. Like, they miss. Then they had Diggs, he's gone. So I just think you can't judge this team now without Nico Collins and Will Anderson. I think you're making a mistake.
Okay, but listen, the Texans who lost last night after they had a 16-point halftime lead, the thing is there's not much resistance being put up in their division, right? The Titans are terrible, the Jags are terrible, and obviously the Colts are flailing right now. And we're going to talk about all these teams today. But we're talking about a bar that was hovering near Super Bowl contender. And, here's the thing. You get guys back off of injury, and that's awesome, and that's all well and good. But then you have to ask yourself, how healthy are they actually? And are they actually coming back 100%? And all those things that start to just be question marks around a team. And, it is just incredibly rare. Like, it never happens that the other team throws 5 interceptions and you lose. And they had 10 points off of those turnovers, obviously all in the first half. The Texans did not score in the second half. And they got a touchdown off of one, and they got a field goal off of another, and then that was it. So, to be honest, that's not enough either. Now, one of the interceptions was really deep in Texans territory, so they started a drive at the 1.
Yeah, that was a tough call because the guy landed at the 1. It was the accurate call. That
could have been a touchback, but
right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. They got in position. There was a pass interference in the last 2 minutes that they didn't call. Easily could have won that game. I mean, even the announcer guy, the official analyst, came on and said the refs were wrong, and they never say that.
Yep.
So it easily could have been a win. They are in the AFC South, so they're going to run this table probably. They have one of the easiest schedules left in the league. A lot of Indianapolis, Tennessee, those kind of teams. So, yes, no, I understand what you're saying. They don't look like the Chiefs, and they don't look like the Ravens. But you have to imagine them. What if they have Will Anderson was defensive rookie of the year last year? He's like I'm not going to say a TJ Watt-like player, but he's a superstar. And what if you put Nico Collins and that offense can move again? If they had Nico Collins, they'd win that game by 2 touchdowns. So I just think it's unfair to judge them. A terrible loss. One, maybe they'll learn from. C.J. Stroud also he's a good quarterback. We could agree on that.
Of course.
He made a couple crazy mistakes. I think maybe a young quarterback learns from that. So I'm putting faith in the fact that team can grow.
Yeah, sure. But, sure. But the problem is I see you got beat on the road last week by the New York Jets, right? Then you get like this mini bye. So you really do have time to collect yourself, and you're home, and you're welcoming in the Lions, and you get out to this big lead. It's almost like the mental aspect of this I kind of worry about, because you're embarrassed by what happened against the Jets. The Jets are a terrible team. You lose to them, and then you feel like, all right, we come out with all this energy. We're injured, but we're also rested because of it was a Thursday night game and now to Sunday. And you just crumbled again in the second half. It's like the bye week didn't do anything to actually fix your biggest issue, which is teams getting a beat on you in the second half and the offense going away. Now, you're right. They have a lot of injuries, but so do the Lions, quite frankly.
I mean, I don't think that's quite the same thing. The Lions are still throwing Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery and Amon-Ra at you and Laporta before he went down. They have a lot of weapons. I think also, too, this is probably the best team in the league right now, Detroit. So that's why, yes, Houston did not measure up to the best team in the league, but again, and the other thing, too, I know it was a home game. It felt like there was a lot of cheering going on for the Lions.
There was a lot of Lions.
So, and it's an indoor game, much like the Lions, you don't have the advantage of getting them outside. I just think this was a tough spot. The Texans have a ridiculous schedule. They're going to end up with 11 or 12 wins. And, yeah, there's going to be some chaos in the AFC. I mean, I'm sorry, your undefeated Chiefs do not look amazing. The Ravens, who knows what that team will do on a given week. I don't think they look like a contender right now, but I definitely think like they could be a different team by round 2 of the playoffs, and they might be dangerous. Say C.J. Stroud really learns from this, and he stops making careless plays. He's got something. You have to admit. Like, when you have a quarterback like that, they're a little bit dangerous.
Of course they are. And Mixon being able to run the ball.
Well, he can be pretty mid at times.
You just mentioned, you said you think the Lions are the best team in the league. Was there a part of this where you're watching yesterday and last night as they're creeping back? Literally, Dan Campbell says in a halftime interview, we got to start getting some takeaways. Yeah. And the next play is an interception. Now, they ended up throwing an interception back on the ensuing drive by the Lions. But is this starting to feel a little destiny-ish? I know it's mid-season, but these kinds of wins, where you need your kicker to nail 2 50-plus yarders. Dude from the Lions last night, the kicker, whose story was they were telling all of last night because he's he was selling bricks at the Acme Brick Company like 19 months ago, and now he's in the record books as the Detroit Lions. He's now kicked the longest field goal in the history of that team. The oldest team. That's a lot of history. And so you needed 2 50-plus yarders. He ends up nailing it. Can I ask you an X's and O's question, too, about last night? So DeMeco Ryans makes the decision when it's 4th and 4, okay, that they decide to attempt a 58-yarder.
Right, at the end of the game. With about 2 minutes left.
2 minutes left.
Yep. They have a great kicker.
Yeah, Kai Fairbairn, right? But he had just also missed a 50-yarder in New York last week against the Jets, but that's outside, and maybe the wind is weird and all that stuff. What's really the higher degree of difficulty? Is it going for that 58-yarder, or is it picking up 4 yards with this offense? I was a little surprised just because he missed it, and he missed it really badly, and then you basically handed the game to the Lions because they were already set up in a really good field position.
Yeah. I think in the year 2024, I would go for the kick because nobody can do a 2-point conversion anymore. Like, that's like short yardage has gotten much harder in the NFL. Haven't you sensed that? So the 2-point conversion rate is way, way down. They did not look like they could gain 4 yards on any given play. Like, look at where the team was. Mixon, if you hand the ball to Mixon, that's a 1-yard loss at best. He could not even get to the line of scrimmage anymore. So who are you throwing to? Who's your go-to guy?
Tank Dell. Dalton Schultz. CJ Stroud. His legs. But he doesn't really run that much.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like you mentioned it, like the Texans offense did nothing. That was not a position where I felt very comfortable. I mean, honestly, it should have been a first. The guy on the play before just got murdered. Should have been pass interference. Texans should have killed the clock and won the game. So that is a little bit of an issue here, but you had to go. You couldn't go for it. There was what would the probability be? About 20% chance that they make it on 4th and 4?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm Monday morning quarterbacking this, but that field goal wasn't even close.
It wasn't that far. He had the leg.
Oh my gosh. It was basically it was in a different county.
No. He just missed it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit by about 2 miles. He wasn't even close on that thing.
I got to look at this again. I don't remember it being that far off.
It was off the moment it left his foot.
It wasn't like San Francisco 49ers kicker bad.
Well, we'll get into that as well.
But
it was almost there wasn't a fist fight, but Deebo Samuel definitely choked a long snapper
okay. We have to go over that. That was a choke?
Yes. What else do you call a hand to the neck?
For how long did it stay there, though? Not like Latrell Sprewell.
Oh, gosh. I didn't even think about that with PJ Carlissimo.
How long was the hand on the neck?
Long enough for it to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing, but it wasn't.
Well, what did you want? The guy to start losing oxygen to his brain? I mean, what do you mean? How long was it happening?
I feel like he hit him in the neck.
No, listen, now I'm watching it on slow-mo, but he definitely had his hand on the neck. What do you want, like a 8 count?
Well, did it even get to a 1.5 count?
I think so.
Okay, I got to look at that again. I got some video
assignments. But still, Perloff, is that really the point? The point is he put his hands on the guy's neck, not how long did he keep the hands there. I mean, they're lucky that wasn't some massive brawl on their own sideline.
Well, yeah, I mean, he went after the kicker, and he also hit the kicker by accident, shrapnel after he hit the long snapper. Yeah, no, it's not good.
Debo's out of his mind yesterday.
Debo's not playing well.
They all aren't playing well. That offense wasn't great yesterday.
But that's what happens when Debo all of a sudden is one of the slowest players on the entire football field. Like, that's their secret weapon. Like, when Debo's done, and McCaffrey looked terrible as a runner yesterday.
Well, I mean, I think they played him enough snaps, don't you think? I thought they were going to ease him back in, and he was out there every single play.
Yeah, so every play except for one run went for 13 yards. Every other one was either 1 or 2 yards. They were trying to work him in, I think, looking ahead. He almost cost them the game as a runner. Like, they were in 2nd and 9 pretty much the entire game.
So we will get into the 49ers. Obviously, you're welcome to call in on that. I want to hear, though, from Jared Goff. So to the victor goes the spoils. Last night, the Lions come from behind win 26-23. They trailed 23-7 at halftime. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions in this game, and somehow they were able to still win. Here's Jared Goff. This guy is cool as a cucumber. He said he felt like he wasn't playing that poorly, even though he threw 3 interceptions in the first half.
I honestly didn't feel like I was playing all that bad, and I was seeing things well. I was throwing it well. Had some unfortunate things there early, but like, I've been through a whole lot worse than that. I've been to the bottom, and mentally I've been to the bottom, and some unlucky plays isn't going to throw me off my game.
Man, that's an amazing answer. And you know what? They were some weird ricochets that were happening. Guys had to make all-time plays to come down with some of these interceptions. But Perloff, like, this is where, if you're a Lions fan, you got to think, boy, are we dangerous this year? Obviously, they are. They're a great team. But when Goff is giving answers like that, 5 picks, who cares? Like, I knew I was playing well. Here's more from Goff. He said he never lost confidence, and the defense kept bailing him out.
I never lost confidence because I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do on most of those plays, and our defense really bailed us out. They really did all day, and the guys stuck with me on offense, and I was telling them, hey man, I'm good, just hang in there, and I'm good. I'm gonna have this thing figured out, and they stuck with me.
I mean, wow, that is a zen. There's some zen to that thing.
He's from California, right? You know what? I was a little wondering, like, why did the Lions with this running back tandem come out throwing on every down too?
Well, they were down by.
No, I mean, in the beginning of the game, they were just throw. I think they were trying to, they saw something in the Texans. That is what you don't want to do with Jared Goff. You don't want him chucking it all over the field, because then you risk a 5 interception game.
Like we saw. But it doesn't matter. They won. Yeah, they couldn't get the ball to St. Brown. That was very clear what the defensive strategy was for the Texans. He eventually ended up with a couple catches, but he was not the difference maker that he generally is. So this is the stat that I saw, and I know there's a lot of stats around this. The Lions, teams throughout NFL history, the record was 373-1-1 when you're leading by 15 points or more and the other team throws 5 interceptions.
They'll never see it coming.
I mean, yeah, they had him right where they wanted him. That 5th interception, that was like, oh, we got him now. That's it. It is gritty, Perloff. I know you hate that word now because it's overused.
Yeah, Collinsworth was hammering home there. He kept saying, and I kind of bought it, this is good for the Lions. This is good for the Lions. They're finally in a close game. They get to see what that's like. You know what? I can't comment on that because I haven't played NFL level football. Is it good for a team like that to be in a close game? I guess you could make that argument. I mean, the reality is whatever happens in week 10 in Houston is not going to affect the playoffs. I mean, we're going to have a whole season before we get. I mean, they're going to face basically, they'll probably face the Packers and the Niners. Like, I don't know. Do you think that this is like, do you think it's a sign that they're going bigger places?
I do. I'm going to take a couple different games that they've won this year. This kicker kicked a game winner against Minnesota. The Lions went to Green Bay and won in crappy weather. And now a win like this against another contender, right?
And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
I think, though, like the combination of winning in some of these ways, I thought the Green Bay win actually was the best one because they have this reputation of not being able to play outdoors. It was disgusting weather. They found a way to win that game, and Goff was good in that game. So, yeah, it's a combination.
Yeah, I think you saw a vulnerability last night. When you stop the Lions' run, when you stop their run game, like, oh, boy, then I think other teams are going to look at this game and say, we're going to make Jared Goff beat us because as long as David Montgomery doesn't get rolling downhill, and he was pretty bad last night, then Goff will hand it up. I mean, we'll cough it up. I'm not sure I walked away with exactly all that grit stuff. I feel like there was a game plan last night. The Bucs did the same thing. They're like, we're gonna make Jared Goff do it, and I don't know. He's cool, but can't you see him throwing another pick in the playoffs?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But he said he's been darker than this, more rock bottom.
Yeah, I would just the Lions have to be patient. They just have to hammer the ball home with their run game. Even when they're down, they can't get antsy and start to go for home run balls because Goff is, again, in the right situation. Jared Goff is the ultimate system quarterback. Can we just say that? Like, he needs everything around him working. He cannot make any plays with his feet. The second he starts moving around, that's trouble town. So I'm kind of reading it differently than you and Chris Collinsworth. Like, this grit win showed something. I'm just like, okay, here's a formula. If you're going against the Lions, just focus on David Montgomery and then just hope. You're right. They totally didn't they should have been going to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not sure their passing game was up to snuff last night. It was really bizarre. The Texans are not full strength on defense either. So this was an opportunity. They just lost to the Jets, for God's sake.
I'm telling you.
The Jets are one of the worst teams in the league.
I think there's trouble a little bit here with Houston.
This is not the real Houston team. There's another team coming at the end of the year. Wait till they get Nico back out there. We don't think of him because he's anonymous. If you had him last night running around over the middle, if he's healthy, there's a different Texans team coming. I'm telling you. Watch out in mid-January. Until then, just sort of chill out.
855-212-4227. All right, you're welcome to weigh in on what you saw last night, which is a quarterback throwing 5 picks and his team wins the game. It's bizarre. Only in the NFL, right? Wow, do we have a lot on the plate today. Mondays are stacked around here, and so we're going to try to get to everything from both college and pro. But if you want to weigh in on your team, 855-212-4227. I'm so glad that EJ put this on the rundown nice and early. It's a segment called Perloff Comes Clean on all the things that you've been wrong about lately.
Well, I mean, it's a couple things. I would say exceptions to the rule.
Well, it's a whole segment's worth.
It's a shorter segment.
Shorter segment.
You have a named segment too for you as well. You got to defend some stuff.
Me?
Yeah, 840.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Some of. Oh yeah. Whoops. What'd I say about the Chiefs? They're going undefeated. Did I say that? 855-212-4227. Okay, lots to do. Perloff comes clean on everything he got wrong recently. Next.
All right, sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Health is a long game, and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 40 cents for every purchase of shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at depend.com.
You're in a 4.5-minute break. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining.
Andrew Perloff's got a secret, yeah, he's hiding something big. Dancing around the truth like he's doing a jig. We all know he's guilty, time to spill the tea. But Pilates MIA, guess he'll miss the scene. Perloff clean, it's time to confess. You're dodging the truth, but we're not impressed. And where's Pilates? Can he ever be found? He's missed more days than Perloff's lost pounds. Perloff's acting shifty, we're watching him sweat. But Pilates a ghost, no sign of him yet. Is he on a vacation? Is he trapped in a maze? While Perloff's hiding secrets, Pete's lost in a haze. Perloff clean, it's time to confess. You're dodging the truth, but we're not impressed. And where's Pilates? Can he ever be found? He's missed more days than Perloff's lost pounds. Perloff's the pounds. Perloff's acting shifty, we're watching him sweat. But Pilates a ghost, no sign of him yet. Is he on a vacation? Is he trapped in a maze? While Perloff's hiding secrets, Pete's lost in a haze. Perloff clean, it's time to confess. You're
Welcome back. Maggie and Perloff show. Time to fess up. Couple minor things I got wrong.
Wait, are you talking about like in life or week 10?
NFL sort of trends over the recent part of the season.
Okay.
Not in life. Not really just week 10. Well, because one of them is not just a week 10 story. It's probably a season-long story. Oh, yeah. I thought there's no way the Bears would fire Matt Eberflus in the season. I also thought that they wouldn't completely lay down at home against the Patriots because they've been good at home. They haven't lost at home, and they had zero effort against the Patriots. But I will tell you one thing where I was right.
Wait, I thought this is you coming clean about things you got wrong. And already now it's something you got wrong, but something you got right?
Well, I did. After they lost in the Hail Mary game, I did write that Chicago is seeing something that's not there in Caleb Williams. And I quote, Chicago is so desperate for a quarterback savior that the city and the franchise are going to see a surefire starter in Williams. This is week 6. No matter what he does on the field, the reality is he's, like most other rookies, worse than a lot of them that we're seeing this year. So I knew Caleb was not playing well. I did not know that Eberflus, who is a defensive specialist, would take the fall for Caleb Williams being bad. So I was really mostly right on this.
Wait, hold on. Eberflus just not, I don't want to confuse people. Eberflus has not been fired yet, but they were chanting fire Flus yesterday.
Right. He's under a lot of heat right now and being in the hot seat. And they might not fire him because they might not have a better option. But I just thought that, the Bears would beat some bad teams and hang around and maybe be a 9-win team and keep Eberflus safe throughout the year. Then next year they'd go to an offensive coach, try and get a Ben Johnson or something. But there's two things going on here. One, the team has quit on Eberflus. And two, Caleb Williams looks terrible. So that also goes on Shane Waldron. So I was wrong about Eberflus. He probably will get fired midseason. I think I might have been wrong about that. Do you think? Are you ready to call me wrong on that? Because there is also the chance that they don't fire him just out of mercy.
They're lost. And I do think he would have they'd be justified in firing him because this team has been a shell since that Hail Mary. And I think that is on the coaching staff to try to get people to turn the page off of that, right?
They were awful in that game. Like
they were terrible in that game.
They had like -5 yards through 3 quarters. That was probably the worst game they played all year too.
This is where I'm going to totally disagree with you. I'm not putting this on Caleb Williams. I think this is all on the Bears. It's the coaching and also, let's be fair, injuries. He basically was playing behind a backup offensive line. Every single spot on the offensive line basically was a backup person because they have had so many injuries. He was sacked 9 times yesterday. He's been sacked 18 times in the last 3 games. And I think that any rookie is going to have a tough time behind an offensive line where you have you're under siege all game long. But did you see some throws that just were bad? Like, I think maybe he's shaken confidence-wise, but he's normally part of the thing is we raise our expectations so high on this guy that we forget he's a rookie quarterback, and most rookie quarterbacks start out 4 and 5. Sure.
I mean, and they brought in these high-priced receivers, and we thought that was going to make it different. I just think you're making a full excuse. Like, maybe he's just like a normal rookie who's going to have a bad first season like most other people. It's possible, but I don't think he's a bad quarterback at all. And I guess... But do you think he's a good quarterback? Well, here's where I'd be putting the benefit. I'm not giving Eberflus and this coaching staff the benefit of the doubt over the talent. Not yet. We'll see what happens with Caleb moving forward. But right now, Eberflus and that crew does not have my trust. But they're 4 and 5 with a rookie quarterback. I just think in a normal situation, if you had a rookie and you were around 500, you'd be safe. I just think that we just got so hyped about this particular rookie. There was Hard Knocks. I think we blew the Caleb Williams potential out of proportion. Okay, what else were you wrong about? The other one, too, we're talking about a coach that people quit on.
Perloff is coming clean this morning.
I thought Cooper Rush would be mediocre or medium, keep getting in games. And he was terrible. But again, like that was a full team effort. I walked away. I mean, they just quit.
Wait, are you coming clean or are you not coming clean?
Well, Cooper Rush was bad, but I don't think Cooper Rush is as bad a quarterback as we saw on Sunday. I think he was terrible. I was wrong about that. I mean, but that was like a full team effort quit, right? I mean, did you actually walk away from that game saying Cooper Rush is a problem? Probably not.
Yeah. I was like, the whole Cowboys are a problem. You're talking about coaches on the hot seat. We already knew Mike McCarthy was, but this is the finger pointing that's going to happen with the Cowboys from here on out is going to be epic because it's going to be everything from the big stuff to the very, very little stuff. And right now it appears that CeeDee Lamb is pointing the finger at the stadium because the sunlight is coming in, shining into one of the end zones so much that he dropped a pass yesterday. And CeeDee's pointing the finger at the stadium. Jerry's pointing the finger at Mike McCarthy. Hey, you know where the sun is going to be.
Don't be ridiculous.
Maybe call different plays when the sun's right there. And then it's just going to be this crazy roundabout.
Don't be stupid.
It's going to be awesome. Jerry, they won't put a curtain up because he goes, you know where the sun's going to be.
It's like a circular fire squad over there.
Anything else you want to fess up on? Own up to, rather.
No, I feel like those are the two big ones. Anything else? You guys keep close track of anything I say wrong and listen to nothing I say that's right. Is there anything else you got?
I feel like the Niners situation may be getting dire for you as well.
Ooh. But I didn't pick them to go to the Super Bowl. I picked the Packers.
That's true. But I think you've been very much hell-bent on, like, this is not the last dance. They'll have plenty of opportunities.
Yeah,
This looks like a team that's
this year is bad. But I don't understand, too, both you and Maggie, like, how do you know with Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa, like in 2 years, they're not going to be good? Because it feels like a team, why is the window closed? That's what I don't understand. Like, just because they first of all, they played so poor, they execute so poorly on special teams that they're in every game. But why is this like the last dance for the Niners?
I don't know if it is, but it didn't look all that inspiring yesterday. Now, listen, McCaffrey's got to get back to full strength, and they played him on every snap. But I'd like to quote Terry, who's in our chat right now, youtube.com/InfinitySportsNet and twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork, when Terry says, Moody is booty.
It's not just that. Every aspect of their special teams is just so awful. Like, they let up huge kickoff returns. They muffed a punt yesterday. The fact that they didn't fire their special teams coach has got to be a mystery. Every 49ers reporter I follow said fire this guy in week 4. He's still there, so I think he's still there. I don't think they fired him. So they would probably be, what are they, 5-4 now? They'd probably be 7-2 if they just didn't hand games away on special teams again and again and again. That being said, they're a little scary. I mean, are they... Do you want to see that team in the playoffs?
The version I saw yesterday, yes.
Sure. If Moody's going to miss 3 field goals again. Now, granted, he kicked the game winner when they needed it, but no, they're not scaring me that much
really?
Right now.
I feel like, they made Baker Mayfield look like a JV high school quarterback. I think the Niners
they were right in that game.
Yeah, not really, though. I mean, they were outgained like what was it, 413-215. They had one drive at the end. It was all penalties. Like the line of scrimmages, the Niners just dominated. They could not figure out how to stop Bosa, which is a story as old as time.
Except for that Baker stiff arm, that was pretty cool.
Well, that's just because Bosa's not going to take down a fellow MAGA wearing hat friend. I'm just kidding.
Right.
That's
okay.
That's a joke out there that Bosa is like.
Bosa doesn't let up on anybody.
But they very, very decidedly dominated that game. They just left all these points. And again, if they had run Isaac Guerrero instead of McCaffrey, I think they blow them out of this game. They were just, for some reason, they were hell bent on having McCaffrey go get tackled at the line of scrimmage on every run play.
I mean, who do you think they're going to play, McCaffrey or Isaac Guerrero? Okay, you're welcome to weigh in. Yes,
I don't think that's a given. I think McCaffrey, you're not going to see him running the ball as much because that didn't work. He's more of a receiver now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, he was actually good on a couple routes yesterday. 855-212-4227. Okay, lots on the table. Perloff coming clean on some things. Andrew Bogusch is working from the Long Island home studios. I'll never make that mistake again. Good morning, Bogues.
I was wondering if you would. Headlines are sponsored this morning by LinkedIn. Let LinkedIn's deep candidate insights help you find your next Pro Bowl hire today. To post your job for free, go to linkedin.com/recruitment. Terms and conditions apply.
I hate Manny.
We are usually talking about Jared Goff having 5 incompletions or less in a game. He's got 5 such efforts this season, but last night in Houston, it was about 5 interceptions.
I honestly didn't feel like I was playing all that bad, and I was seeing things well. I was throwing it well. Had some unfortunate things there early, but like I've been through a whole lot worse than that.
All the picks had his Lions down 23-7 at halftime on Sunday Night Football. They were still down 10-3, and then they won.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, seriously. They won 26-23 on Jake Bates' 52-yard field goal as time expired. The Lions, the first team in a dozen years to win despite 5 picks. They're 8-1 overall, extending their best start since 1954. The Texans, meanwhile, dropped to 6-4 after failing to score in the second half. C.J. Stroud with 2 picks of his own. Let's go back to Tampa. Niners-Bucks, one of the other game-winning field goals yesterday. Jake Moody, good from 44 for a 23-20 San Francisco win. But again, only after missing 3 kicks. Here's his head coach, Kyle Shanahan.
You're only as good as your last kick, so he did a hell of a job winning that game for us at the end.
However,
Man, there was nobody. I mean, I would have rather been anyone else in that moment except for Jake Moody when he lined up. And he did get the game winner, but that was also barely.
Pain.
Yeah, I mean, Burkhardt was baffled, or like at least he thought it was going to keep fading right. The call was a little jumbled because I don't think he knew what was happening because it was so tight to the goalpost.
That was crazy.
And almost look, it's one of those ones where it was at the top of the goalpost too, so you could tell, like, is it going to go over, and the officials are just going to have to basically guess if it was good or not.
I mean, I thought there was going to be a brawl on the sideline. I really did. When Debo put his hands like that on the long snapper's neck, and I saw them after, the long snapper said, listen, when you're a specialist, it's hard because it's feast or famine. Either you're awesome or you're horrible. But Debo being so frustrated and just taking it out on these guys, I mean, does this look like a team going to the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've seen great Super Bowl teams who fight on the sidelines. Like that alone is not a problem.
Yeah,
well,
I'm kind of with Perloff here. Like, I'm not giving up on this team yet. There's still a win streak. I would not want them coming to my building in January. Thank you.
They play Buffalo December 1st at Buffalo. I think the Bills are a really narrow favorite in that game. That one's going to be close. Like, the Bills have not really seen a team like that. You know, I think that's going to be good. Like, they have a very, very hard schedule, so maybe they don't even make the playoffs. But again, like, talent-wise, it's all there. They got Fred Warner, Nick Bosa.
No, I get they have a lot of talent. I just think that this has also been a very snake-bitten year for them.
Well, it's really just been special teams. Other than that, like, what's been the problem?
Brandon Ayuk is gone. McCaffrey missed half the season. Their kicker just got back from being injured, and he can't hit a field goal.
I think Debo's missed a game too. I mean, injuries have been the problem.
Yeah, totally. And so
Purdy's
I don't know.
some picks.
Yeah, Purdy's been trying to do a lot. Like, he just.
Good. I thought he was good yesterday.
Yeah,
I thought he was too.
Yeah, I mean, he's all of a sudden become like Patrick Mahomes, trying to run around and make these crazy plays. That's not what you want. I can't wait, Maggie. I am picking the Niners over the Bills in Buffalo, December 1st.
Yeah, but I'm gonna sound like you with this one. Yeah. I don't really care about that game, to be honest.
Well, that's convenient.
No, I'm just saying I care about the Chiefs.
Right. But I'm talking about as a referendum on the Niners. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I think the Niners are going to match up very well in that game.
I just I don't know how much that game is going to matter.
It's going to matter a ton to San Francisco.
To San Francisco?
Yeah, every game is urgent from now on. Like, that's a huge game.
I get it, but the Bills are not dealing with that same urgency. Like, they're going to walk away with the division. It's not about that for them. The measuring stick game, they've got measuring stick games. They failed miserably against the Baltimore Ravens. They've also got to play the Lions. They've also got to play the Chiefs coming up this week. That game is the least of my worries.
Right. But how do you view that game from so do you like a team like that? So you're saying the Niners look like they're falling apart. They go, if they win a game like that, it's going to really help their playoff position. I think the Niners we've not heard the last of them.
I think I got to see them beat a good team because they really haven't. Like,
True.
They've beaten up on the Jets. They've beaten up on the Patriots, the Seahawks.
Well, are the
Cowboys.
Seahawks a decent team?
They've lost like 4 in a row, right? They look awful right now, and they're banged up. And they play them again next week. I think the Packers and Bills are really. That's when we're gonna know who the 49ers are. If they come out as at least 1-1, maybe you feel a little better. But on the road, back-to-back weeks, long travel to Buffalo, I actually think I like Buffalo in that game.
I mean, listen, you're right. It is a long trip, but it's a night game. Body clock. We're all body clock people.
How's your body clock right now?
The thing is, because now all of a sudden the pesky Cardinals are floating around, the Niners have to really focus here to get into the playoffs. But once they're there, maybe I'm totally naive. Once they're there, I think that's like, why would you want to see that team? Why would you want to see a healthy Christian McCaffrey and Nick Bosa coming around the edge? Like, give me the Eagles. Give me some other team. Give me whoever wins the NFC South. Give me the Falcons. The Niners, I think, are still scary.
Man, Andrew Brandt, the former cap guy for the Packers and front office guy, NFL long time, he had a tweet yesterday. He goes, the only people who think that the Eagles are not contenders are Eagles fans.
He's right.
You guys hate this team. Meanwhile, they keep winning. Bogish, back to you.
Do you know who our coach is, guys?
Some college football now, 1-9. Florida State firing both coordinators and a third assistant yesterday. The Noles lost their 6th in a row Saturday by 49 points to Notre Dame. We discussed Anthony Davis's lingering left foot issue last week. Now he's got a temporary eye problem. AD leaving last night's 123-103 home win over the Raptors after getting hit in that eye accidentally. Head coach J.J. Redick.
I just know that he got poked in it. He was having trouble seeing. Obviously, take a little trauma to the eye. It takes a little bit of time to sort of get your clear vision back. But other than that, no update.
I know what you're doing here, Bogish. And
what am I doing?
Manny and I completely just same book, same page this thing.
I have no idea. What?
I have no idea what you're talking about,
Sure.
Maggie.
Yeah, Manny just peeked out from behind like the stack of books over there. All right. Mind out of the gutter, everybody. But it was funny. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Sure.
I hand to
A
God,
little
I'll swear.
sophomoric, don't you think, Bogues?
No, did I not hear the clip right? It's a straight news story. He's hurt again. That's the only joke.
I got to hear it again. I missed it. Sorry.
No,
Play it again.
It's fine. It's okay. You get kicked off some stations.
What are you talking about?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
All right. LeBron James, he was fine last night. 19 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, second straight triple-double. Far more significant injury news for the Thunder. Chet Holmgren, a hard fall last night trying to block a shot. He has a right pelvic fracture. He's out at least 2 months. OKC also losing the game of the Warriors, 127-116. I still am at a loss, so please, back to you, Maggie.
That's okay. I was just kidding about getting kicked off some stations. It's, he may have accidentally dropped a sexual innuendo in there. That's all. That's the only thing. He didn't realize it.
No.
Maybe it's me and Manny have the sense of humor of 2 6th-grade boys.
Why am I getting
and I
thrown
normally
in the
do
gutter?
too.
It was a bummer about Chet Holmgren. That goes back to a show bet and a show thing that we had when he was a rookie. Is he ever going to be able to stay healthy?
Yeah, that
It's a
stinks
shame.
because that felt like a title team, contender this year.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe still, but 2 months. I mean, there's only 7 months left in the NBA season.
He's got time.
Folks, thanks so much. We actually have one more thing that Perloff needs to come clean about.
What's that?
And this is from our very own Andrew Kaplan. We'll get to that next.
Oh, great.
He's keeping receipts.
Wonderful.
What else does Perloff need to make amends for? 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break.
So Perloff, spill it, we're all here to see. While Belotti's gone like he's on a spree. 2 mysteries and one who'd have ever guessed. One's hiding the truth, the other needs a GPS. Andrew Perloff's got a secret, yeah, he's hiding something big. Dancing around the truth like he's doing a jig. We all know he's guilty, time to spill the tea. But Belotti's MIA, guess he'll miss the scene. Perloff clean, it's time to confess. You're dodging the truth, but we're not impressed. And where's Belotti? Can he ever be found? He's missed more days than Perloff's lost pounds. Perloff's acting shifty, we're watching him sweat. But Belotti's a ghost, no sign of him yet. Is he on a vacation? Is he trapped in a maze? While Perloff's hiding secrets beats lost in a haze. Perloff clean, it's time to confess. You're dodging the truth, but we're not impressed. And where's Bellotti? Can he ever be found? He's missed more days than Perloff's lost pounds. Perloff's a pounds. Perloff's acting shifty, we're watching him sweat. But Bellotti's a ghost, no sign of him yet. Is he on a vacation? Is he trapped in a maze? While Perloff's hiding secrets, beats lost in a haze. Perloff clean, it's time to confess. You're dodging the truth, but we're not impressed. And where's Bellotti? Can he ever be found? He's missed more days than Perloff's lost pounds. We're all here to see, while Bellotti's gone like he's on a spree. Two mysteries and one who'd have ever guessed. One's hiding the truth, the other needs a GPS.
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Daily. Do you believe that? Deion. You believe that?
Well, what do we have here? Colorado, I hate this term, but it applies, controlling their own destiny in the Big 12. They will not face BYU during the rest of the regular season, Perloff, with 3 games left to go. But if they win out, they would face, we believe, BYU in the Big 12 title game. They win that, they get an automatic bid to the college football playoff. Deion Sanders has captained one of the great turnarounds in college football this season.
Okay, well, they're ranked number 20 now, right? Or I think they came out at AP in 20, or maybe it's the coaches poll. Sorry, it is the coaches poll. They're 20th. Why are we talking about them differently than the 19 teams? We're not saying like Kansas State's 19. Are they going to? This is. Are we overhyping? They're the 20th best team in the country. Why are we talking about them as a playoff team?
Well, because they're the second highest ranked Big 12 team.
Right, but you know what? Like, we're not talking about the second-ranked ACC team. Yeah, we're overhyping Deion again. Just because he has a chance here doesn't mean he's in the playoff, Maggie.
Oh, this is so wrong out of you. So wrong.
They're 18. Actually, they're 18 AP, 20 in coaches poll, and we're treating them like they are like the team.
They won 4 games last year. This is huge for them. And after they lost to Nebraska earlier in the season and got blown out, I think a lot of people believed, all right, well, this is not going to be a team that's going to make any noise. And here they are. You get to the Big 12 title game, all bets are off. You win that game, you're in the college football playoff, and Deion's the greatest story of the college football season, period. And yeah, we are actually kind of talking about the second-ranked team in the ACC. We're talking about everything because this college football playoff is so nuts.
But do we give the energy to SMU or Army or any of these other surprise teams like we do Colorado? No.
Listen. You just have to admit you got to eat a little crow here.
Well, no, listen. I'm on the Colorado bandwagon, but it does feel like
sound like it.
Well, I do feel like, listen, really, should we be talking about them more than Boise State? Should we be talking to them more than Army? Like, those teams are incredible stories too. It's just Deion sucks up all the oxygen in the entire sport by beating a pretty bad Texas Tech team.
Listen, it's not about maybe it's about the week-to-week games. I think, to me, it's about the whole season here for Colorado. You have a team that could make the college football playoff. You have the Heisman frontrunner now. Odds-on favorite is Travis Hunter. Shador's right there also. And Shador might be the first quarterback taken in the draft next year, go number 1 overall. Things are really breaking right for Colorado when, again, after the loss to Nebraska, after the loss to Kansas State, that close loss, I think maybe they were written off.
What's the win that's really impressed you that makes you say Colorado, and this is for Andrew Kaplan, Colorado grad in the chat as well, where you said Colorado is a legit college football power? What's the win?
Is anyone calling them a college football power? We're saying they could get into the playoff and how great that would be.
I'm rooting against them.
Look at that.
I'm rooting against them.
Believe that?
Flipped in the same segment.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like watching them. They're really fun. And you're right. Shador Sanders is amazing. Travis Hunter is ridiculous. Good call by you, picking preseason Heisman. But that being said, when is the hype going to end? When is the hype? They beat, look at their wins. Texas Tech, Cincinnati. I mean, Travis Kelce's not in Cincinnati anymore. That's not Arizona. They're beating these weird teams. So I just don't know. I just don't know how good they are, Maggie.
Listen.
They could show up in a week and blow out a good team or get blown out by a good team. I have no idea who they are.
Oh, no.
Listen, they're playing who's on the schedule. And Texas Tech, by the way, had just beaten Iowa State the week before and basically knocked them out of the college football playoff and their hopes. So it's the Big 12. It's always a little bit wonky, and BYU is certainly at the top of the heap right now.
Which is wild, too, by the way.
And it took an all-time questionable, controversial penalty call against Utah to keep a drive alive for BYU, the fact they even won that game in the Holy War.
Yeah, you're right. It is fun. Just, I don't know, the energy we're talking about. What other team in the top 20 that's not top 5 or they control their own destiny? That is such an unusual thing to say for this team. And you're right. It's absolutely true. It's just so funny to me that we're all of a sudden they're at 19 and we're talking about them in the same sentence with Georgia and Alabama.
I think they deserve it.
I mean,
we're not putting them in the same class as Georgia and Alabama, but we are talking about scenarios of who's going to make this 12-team college football playoff, and theirs is one of the most wild ones.
Absolutely. You're right about that, but it's so funny to me. They could be on a neutral field against one of these top 12 teams, and they might be a 20-point underdog, or they might be a favorite. I don't even know who they are. How would Colorado match up against Texas or Georgia?
Listen, they win the Big 12. They're getting a first-round bye.
Well,
they could.
Yeah. If you win the Big 12, you are. It's not even. Boise is in theory
technically
could get
the Group
that,
of 5 champion could be that.
I find that unlikely, though.
Well, yeah. Would Boise get it over them though?
Well, Boise would have to remain undefeated, and
Which
at that point, it's just a battle of resumes. And I think Colorado State would have the better wins.
Well, Boise's 13, and Colorado's lower than that right now.
Yeah, but that's a power ranking. I feel like once we get to, we've seen the college football playoff in the past, basically do a power ranking, and then the last weekend be all right, we're just going to do whatever we want.
Because they'd have to be BYU likely in the title game, who's a top 10 team. Yes. So that would push them over the top. That being said, The whole playoff is funny too because like Penn State's number 4. Like Penn State will get destroyed by an SEC team. I'm going to tell you that right now. So the college football playoffs could have some very funny results.
Get on board, man.
I'm not on board. I was on board until this segment. Now the hype. I mean, you can understand resisting hype.
We're not hyping them enough.
Colorado? Oh,
last year we overhyped them. Now they're 7-2. They're within striking distance of actually winning a Power 4 conference championship. Now's the time you actually do hype them. They have the Heisman frontrunner. This is the time you deserve the hype.
Power 4-ish.
Coming up if the Cowboys quit.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining.
Eat the chili.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
Eat the chili. No hands.
What are we waiting for? Take this! What are we waiting for? Take this!
I gotta wait. I know that.
Is this the first time you've ever sung?
Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba.
We need to help him out
here. Never seems so good.
So good! So good! So good!
Tube audience again.
Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh, yo. L-O. Man, he's got a whip full bass swinging with flair. Behind the glass, he's waving it in the air. That bat's bright yellow, could do some harm. If he's not careful, it'll raise the alarm. EJ sitting close, looking a bit tense. He knows one wrong move could be at his expense. Man, he swings wild like he's aiming to score.
Hurts stamps his foot. Hurts keeps it, runs, cuts back, inside. Touchdown number 10. Hurts on the keeper.
Who else? Merrill Reese, that's Eagles radio. It was not much of a game yesterday. Eagles go into Dallas, win convincingly. Final scores 34-6. You had Kenny Pickett in the game, Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. Just a real carousel of backup quarterbacks for a lot of the second half. And Perloff, I know you're gonna, you're not gonna give the Eagles any credit for this, or you're gonna downplay it.
Well, that's fair. I mean, okay, maybe I'm a little negative on my own team. It is kind of hard to tell what this means because the Cowboys looked really flawed.
Really flawed. And I think that, listen, Dak Prescott, we found out on Friday, I think that report was a little premature. The report was he's definitely having season-ending surgery. And I think Adam Schefter said he's going to be in New York City today getting that season-ending surgery. But yet Jerry Jones last night after the game said they're still making a decision about it. So,
well, I think they said during the broadcast he's getting a final evaluation today, that maybe there's a chance that he doesn't do surgery. But now that the team is basically out of it, there's no reason to not put him on the IR.
Right. So the Dak Prescott hamstring injury that we had heard, part of it got ripped off the bone. Ugh, that sounds excruciating. He's going to have some type of surgery or shut it down for the rest of the year. Now,
all in.
Cooper Rush is a good backup quarterback. He didn't play well yesterday because the team around him, frankly, is not as good as the last time we saw Cooper Rush have to come in and play well. And this entire Cowboys season is just devolving by the game. Now, here's the thing. Whether it's the offense not having enough weapons, whether it's the defense who had to overcome injuries, and yesterday Micah Parsons did come back, and he did make some plays.
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
But once the game is a 2-score lead by the other team, Micah Parsons does not have the impact that he does in a close game. No.
And DeMarvion Overshawn was destroying it, just came out on a man on fire. Then he got hurt. It looked pretty bad. I think he's okay. So those two guys, I'm going to take one positive thing about them. They do have some pretty good young players. They just need to get rid of everybody else.
Right. So that's going to be on the table, although Jerry's maybe one of the most loyal people.
Well, also, too, the Dak contract feels so bad now, too, because it's not just this year, right? This is a gray cloud over the team. They paid him $60 million per year this offseason. This is what you get. It just has to feel like a total low. To me, it's not even just this season is lost. It feels like kind of like the franchise's future feels lost.
Yeah, and so with that and the future in question, we want to play a soundbite for you that's Micah Parsons. Now, Micah Parsons was asked by Jory Epstein from Yahoo, who's been a guest on the show before and does a great job. She asked him about Mike McCarthy's future, and the direction that Parsons took this in, we thought was very noteworthy. Here's Parsons.
That's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But, all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But the guys I kind of feel bad for is guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
Get your damn act together.
I'm I'm sorry, what was at the end of that? Listen, you could totally understand, Perloff, a player thinking about this from the player's point of view, right? He's a little less interested in the coaching situation than he is Zach Martin maybe being able to go out on top. But to say Zach Martin put in more time and effort than Mike McCarthy ever did, I get he's been with the organization longer, but isn't that indirectly saying that Mike McCarthy is not working hard enough?
Oh, I'm not sure he meant it that way. I don't think... I don't think he meant to take a swipe. Micah Parsons sort of speaks from the hip. That to me, I don't think he meant to take a swipe at Mike McCarthy there. I think he was just saying Zach Martin's put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this franchise.
Say it that way.
Yeah. But Micah, when you say as many things as Micah Parsons says, you're going to put your foot in your mouth. I don't think he was trying to dig at McCarthy yesterday. I heard the whole sound like he did say some nice things about McCarthy, but I think to me, actually, I took away, it was like he's already admitted that they're moving on at coach. That was my takeaway, not that he was dissing him compared to Zach Martin's workload.
Well, okay, both, because he's saying basically Mike McCarthy is going to be fine. He'll get another job somewhere.
Right.
And yeah, so you are kind of acknowledging, but you don't have to be Einstein to acknowledge that. You have McCarthy who's on this lame duck year, so that's... if he quote unquote loses the locker room, that's on the coach, but it's also on the front office because you let him dangle out there. And this is not college. These guys are professional locker rooms. When someone's got a contract longer than the coach, they know they've got more power and just more certainty than the coach.
Buy into us.
Yeah, but they didn't know that their quarterback was going to get hurt. Their best defensive player was going to be hurt most of the year. I'm not sure that they should not have extended. I hear what you're saying. They should not have extended Mike McCarthy in the offseason.
Why?
They got to keep this job open for Bill Belichick. And that's the question. The rest of the season is a tryout for Bill, who's probably going to have 4 offers. Is there enough talent to build a team around here with GM Jerry Jones setting the roster? And I think that's a big question mark. I think it's actually, I'm very curious to see how these guys respond the rest of the season. Because there was a rumor report on last week that Belichick is getting closer, more chummy with the Cowboys front office. Now I think the question is what's next, Maggie? Is Micah Parsons going to stay there? What is going on with this team? What does the future hold?
Well, I mean, Parsons is looking out for a contract, right? And I have a feeling that the Cowboys are going to give it to him eventually. They eventually pay everybody. I don't think that he would be on his way out.
I wish he was. I wish he would come home to Philadelphia.
Listen,
stop this charade, dude. We know you love the Eagles. Get over here, buddy.
There's I know we're gonna have a lot of time to unpack this, but I just can't think of a worse fit than Bill Belichick with the Cowboys, especially if you're talking about a roster that needs a lot of overhaul.
Why?
But does it?
Well, you're just saying they got old. And
they got no, but they've actually made. They're really young. They start a bunch of rookies.
If you're going to have, listen, there's turnover every year. Yeah. I just think you're going to butt heads here with Belichick and with the Joneses on player personnel.
Day by day.
I don't think that Jerry is just turning the keys over to Bill Belichick and saying, all right, you run the team now. He's not doing that. And so I think it's going to be a constant butting of heads on personnel issues, if I were to guess.
I know how interested you are on that subject.
I think Bill Belichick's going to look at that roster and he's going to say, you know what? I look at that wide receiver room and I see Jonathan Mingo. Who they just traded for and didn't even suit up, which is so funny. You're right. But that being said, remember when Belichick got to New England, he brought in all these mid-level free agents to play special teams like the Larry Izzos of the world. I actually think there's enough talent to build something around. The problem is that Dak contract and how old and injured Dak has looked over the last 2 or 3 years. There's a lot of young, good players there. They have talent. I mean, they have these two, Tyler Guyton, they just drafted left tackle. He didn't play yesterday, I don't think. And Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, who they just drafted, a rookie center, Overshawn, Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb. There's some players there. This particular team that we saw Sunday has quit. So I'm not sure, you can't judge them on what you're seeing now because it's over. And I think you kind of nailed it with the lame duck situation. So it's over for the year. The question is are we going to see anything to build on in Dallas the rest of the year?
I don't know, because they're too busy pointing fingers at each other. And, whether it's reports about tours that are coming through the stadium that are distracting, or whether it's about the sun. The sun coming into the stadium has become an actual issue because CeeDee Lamb missed a touchdown pass from Cooper Rush because he said the sun, I couldn't see the ball. And Jerry Jones, completely unprompted, said,
"Don't be stupid."
Well, that, but also he's not going to put curtains up, which they have done in Jerry World for other things like concerts and stuff like that, because the glare is coming in and impacting the offense. But he said, we're not going to do this. And he got sarcastic. He goes, well, then let's just tear the damn stadium down and build another one. Are you kidding me?
Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, because he's saying everyone knows where the sun is going to be. So you should be acting accordingly. And I think he's talking directly to Mike McCarthy there. Yeah. Call different plays. But, I mean.
By the way, that pass that CeeDee lost in the sun, that Cooper Rush, my guy, threw about 8 yards behind him. Actually, I think that. Was that the play where it wasn't clear if he was throwing to Ferguson or CeeDee Lamb? Like, yes. Everyone's like, what is going on here? That was a bizarre play. For some reason, Cooper Rush was not the old Cooper Rush. He was just rattled.
Yeah, he was. I just think the sun, it's just one of these, it's in some ways a microcosm of things that go on with the Cowboys, which is there can be their own worst enemy. It's your home field advantage, right? It's supposed to be. And your players can't adjust to it because you don't practice in there. You practice in a totally different other place in your facility, so you only go into Jerry World really on game days, is from what I understand. So,
yeah, but I mean, it's not like Mike McCarthy struggled at home as a coach. So this seems like, yeah, when your personnel stinks, it's easier to find these problems. Like how many times the last 3 years, I think he's been very good at home.
Yeah, but the sun feels like it has been an issue. But Jerry will say everybody has the same thing. Every team that comes in here has the same issues. So we know where the sun's going to be when we decide to flip the coin or not. We do know where the damn sun is going to be in our own stadium.
Honestly, the sun, half the Eagles team could have been blinded by the sun, and the Cowboys were still losing that game the way they played yesterday.
Yeah, they are bad. Can we put the poll question up, EJ? Have the Cowboys quit?
Thanking himself.
I think we need to evolve that a little bit, because who would say no on that, right? Like,
it's a big claim.
Well, it'll shut up on the answer.
No. The Cowboys that team quit yesterday. And I don't think they have any chance. I honestly, you can put that up, but also too, is there any future for the Cowboys? I don't know how you word it. Like, is Jerry ever going to get this thing fixed?
No, because he's part of the problem. 855-212-4227. You're welcome to weigh in on the Cowboys. Leland is our big 49er fan in Sacramento. Leland, you saw the game yesterday. 49ers escape with a win in Tampa. But what'd you think of Deebo Samuel and the long snapper Pepper? What's his name? Taden Pepper?
Tabor Pepper.
Tabor Pepper. What a name.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think that this shows that the 49ers are a team that's losing their poise. Even though they won yesterday, they squeaked the win out. I was shocked. It's unconscionable to see a player at the highest level in the NFL act like that toward another fellow teammate. I played ball. We've never treated each other like that, at a much lower league. I just can't understand it.
Yeah, so Deebo put his hand on the long snapper's neck and was just sort of jawing back and forth with the long snapper, the kicker, Jake Moody, who missed 3 field goals in this game, but ultimately kicked the game winner. And, it got ugly there.
He hit him in the neck. He didn't just put his hand out. He struck him in the neck.
I wonder if he's going to get in trouble for it. Do you fine him internally? Does he face any repercussion, Deebo Samuel, for doing that to a teammate?
Well, they're going to get in trouble by losing games or not doing well, because if you look at that last run by the Bucks, the 49ers committed so many penalties.
Yep.
All of those penalties are what I call loss of toys penalties. They're just losing it. And football is a game where you have to keep your emotions in check. You unleash it during the play, but when they blow the whistle, that's when you got to reset and get ready for the next play. Deebo Samuel, he's got a problem. He's not.
Lila, let's be honest. Deebo's always been on the edge. I mean, Debo's never been, even when things are great in San Francisco, he's not the happiest camper. Like, he's never happy with his contract, never, ever in his entire career. I don't know. I just feel like this is the other thing too. What's happened? Why can't Debo run anymore? Why is he so slow and bad?
Well, that's another conversation, but I think that Debo Samuel is one of the players that they might want to trade this summer because he is losing his ability to perform. He can't run those jet sweeps anymore.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah, but Leland, I think he was actually on the trade block this offseason. I don't think they got any takers. And Leland, thank you for weighing in.
Might be a cut situation. You're right. Like nobody thinks Debo's part of that future.
But the final drive for Tampa, 2 hands to the face and 1 roughing the passer penalty committed by the San Francisco defense that kept Tampa's drive alive. And the only problem is Tampa just left a little bit too much time on the clock. They left 41 seconds, and all of a sudden Jake Moody decided to actually hit a field goal.
I mean,
kicker.
This is a game where Baker Mayfield threw for 105 yards. This is they destroyed them at every play. It was an incredibly. I totally blame Shanahan. I think Shanahan kept playing for field goals when he didn't have a good field goal kicker. I'm like, dude, you got to be aggressive on 3rd and 4th down. And he's like, he thought Tampa Bay's offense couldn't do anything, so there was nothing to worry about. That was a classic game mismanagement by Shanahan. The entire game, he was doing everything wrong. He really had a bad one to me.
Manny, can we hear a little Kyle Shanahan, please? Kyle Shanahan says he felt confident in Moody, their kicker, during the week.
I had great confidence all week in him. Confidence is built off of how guys look during the week, and he looked great in the week. And he made some field goals today, but the one he missed was just a little bit left. Looked like the next one he missed was the exact same kick, a little bit left. Then it looked like he overcompensated for those misses and missed the exact same way a little bit to the right, and fixed that a little bit, and it just went into the right on the last one. So you're only as good as your last kick, so he did a hell of a job winning that game for us at the end.
I mean, this has got to be because he was a draft pick, right? That the reason why he's not cut. And I know he ended up making a big kick in the Super Bowl, Perloff. They eventually lost anyway to the Chiefs in overtime. But like, if he was not a draft pick, there's no way he'd still be on this team.
Well, right. They have to cut him now. Don't they?
I don't know. You said it. The special teams coach hasn't been fired. It's been a disaster all season. Nobody believes this guy can make a kick. But didn't they draft him in the 3rd round?
I don't like playing this game.
Thought it was a 4th round.
Was it 4th round?
But yeah,
either way,
you could absolutely be right. They gotta move on. I said this about your Jets, EJ, early in the season. Like, you could tell when a kicker has the yips.
Oh my gosh!
And by the way,
the Jets blew it too. They should have gotten rid of Zerline weeks ago.
I mean, there's another huge issue out there for another Super Bowl contender is our guy in Baltimore all of a sudden vulnerable? Like, I worry about him too.
Yeah, I got to go back
Justin
to Thursday
Tucker.
night for that one.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are a bunch of contenders who have shaky kicking situations, and that's got to be terrifying as a fan. Oh, yeah.
Ramon is in Indianapolis, wants to talk about the Cowboys, asking whether they quit yesterday and just how bad things have gotten for Dallas. Hey, Ramon.
Hey, how you doing, Maggie and Perloff? And you're right. It's terrible there. Philly didn't even... Philly act like it was already mailed in when they got there. That was embarrassing. Jerry has no one with the blame. I get tired of everybody giving him breaks. No, maybe not you guys, but some of the national sports media is always covering for him. He's the boss. Everything's supposed to start at the top, and that's what happened. Just like here, Shane Steichen comes out and says, "Well, Flacco give us the best chance to win." Can you tell the last 3 weeks? Please tell me what is he seeing that we're not seeing? Because everybody's around here like, what the heck are you talking about? Okay, it's ridiculous. It was horrible. It was embarrassing to see that. The man's going on 40 years old. Do what Carolina did. Bryce Young is showing signs now. Maurice Jones-Drew said he saw great passes, great throws from him, especially down that stretch, and he doesn't have anyone no more. They traded away Johnson. They traded away McCaffrey, and he's showing signs. I don't understand what the issue is here, but that Dallas game was horrible. But I'm sad with Denver. I thought Denver had Kansas City's number, and people broke through to get that kick. That I'm sure they just beat themselves up. But it's just horrible coaching. The Bears coaching. It's just coaching for a lot of coaching, man.
It's an epidemic. And you know what? It's the Cowboys, and thank you as always for the call. And Ramon's calling from Indianapolis. I mean, somebody is going to have to explain to me like I'm a 5-year-old. why you wouldn't at least have Anthony Richardson in the game in short yardage situations. Joe Flacco, they had a 4th and 1 they were going for when it was a 1-score game against Buffalo. Joe Flacco got sacked on the play because he has to be in shotgun because he can't move. And, I mean, throw Richardson back there. You would have picked up the first down and then put Flacco back in. Like, I do not understand. Richardson was not good. He's been not good, and then he's been hurt. And I get he said that he got tired on a play, and that really rubbed people the wrong way. But you're also trying to win football games here.
Well, I think that they don't want to open that window to having Richardson back in because they did have this bizarre quote like, oh, no, it's Flacco's job for the year. It seems like there's some kind of messaging to the team or to the media or fans. I don't know that there's no two-headed quarterback here. This is Joe Flacco's team.
Okay, but Joe Flacco has spent no time in Indianapolis. There should be no loyalty to him. The loyalty has got to be to your 4th overall pick that you're trying to develop. Let's not lose the plot here, guys.
Yeah.
The plot is not Joe Flacco squeaking into the playoffs. The plot is that you need Anthony Richardson to actually live up to his draft status, or else you're all getting fired.
That was why before the season I kept saying that I felt like this season was not about wins and losses for the Colts. And that's hard to do in the NFL because every fan wants wins and losses, especially a team like this that's actually spend some money on some of their young players. But they're focused on trying to sneak in and maybe, make some noise. The whole season need to be about this guy just getting reps. This is a guy that played basically no games in high school and 11 in college. That should have been the only criteria for getting through the season. And because the like you said, the plot got lost. Now in a situation, we got a freaking statue out there, and the 30-something, 40-year-old out there playing quarterback, and you're still 4-6.
Wait. You guys can say that. We could sit here and say that, but when you're the coach and you have a chance to make the playoffs, that's a big deal. I think Shane Steichen and that staff is we could go 6-11 with Anthony Richardson, or maybe we go 9-8 with Joe Flacco. You can at least understand the choice.
Oh, I get it, but I don't understand why it has to be Joe's the quarterback and we can't do anything for Anthony Richardson. You'll never see him in this game unless Flacco would get knocked out of the game.
Yeah.
That, to me, I don't get. You've got a guy who can run. Put him in a short yardage situation and see if he can pick up a first down for you every now and then. That, to me, doesn't open up a QB controversy.
The Panthers did a lot of things wrong, but how they handled Bryce Young was right. They kind of said this is a reset. He's clearly overwhelmed. We're going to put Dalton in, and we'll see what happens down the road. Which now he's come back, and he doesn't look as bad.
Right.
Get out of here. No. And I disagree with the call. Bryce Young did not look good yesterday.
He was fine. He
they
wasn't,
beat
he wasn't
the
great.
worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, but
in Germany.
They're the second worst team in the NFL. So baby steps here.
Well, you better not bring that guy back. If you say, "Oh, I saw enough with Bryce Young this year," and don't draft a quarterback, if you're a Carolina fan, you are going to drive to David Tepper's house and fire him. Honestly, I don't know what's so good about the way they're handling Bryce Young. You to start week 1 with him next year because of what you saw against the Giants.
No, it's not even that. It's just that now you went back to him, and now you can actually evaluate him the rest of the year. Where the Colts have put them in a situation where they can't even evaluate Anthony Richardson. Now they're just watching him on his wristband, reading the plays with his headset on, like he's he's a third string guy.
But
you don't even know what you have now.
They're 4-6, and the Texans are 6-4. The Texans have one more injury, and that house of cards is going to fall to. I'm pro Texans, but they seem really snake bitten with injuries. The Colts could make the playoffs. I think you guys are underestimating what that means for a franchise in a city a little bit.
I feel like I'm watching Joe Flacco leak. I mean, this is the end. 855-212-4227.
I thought that was in 2016.
Well, so did we all. Coming up on Mondays, we do something called the M&P 500. Whose stock is up and whose stock is down. We also see you guys on the phones. You want to call out Perloff? You can do that right here on the show. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Been a lot of calling out Perloff today. Monday morning. Can happen. One thing I did have right. In the offseason, I told you guys, and if I don't think you're going to remember this.
Okay.
Colorado's offensive line was so bad last year, Maggie, that you had given up on it. And I said, well, they did bring in a bunch of transfers, and they got this 5-star. Maybe they can fix that. Because do you remember how down you were on that O-line?
I was down on doing the whole transfer thing again.
Yes.
Like basically a hockey line change, but of an entire football roster.
For good reason.
That. Yes.
But you had all of a sudden this kid, Jordan Seaton, he's like Penny Sewell of college football. He is amazing for Colorado. And you did see it, like LeJontay Wester and Travis Hunter were just faster than everyone else on the field. So I will give you top-wise, the top of the Colorado roster is awesome. I am just not going to be convinced that Colorado is all of a sudden some national powerhouse because they won at Texas Tech.
Well, what we're saying is Colorado looks like they are on a collision course for the Big 12 title game, and anything can happen. Then they could have an automatic bid to the inaugural 12-team college football playoff. Stunning turnaround.
And if
for
they
Deion.
do, what is the spread in that first game?
Well, we'll get to that when we get to that. Joe is in California, wants to call out Andrew Perloff for hating on Deion Sanders. I know he's hating on Sanders, but hi, Joe. Good morning.
Yeah, he been hating on Sanders for a while. He ain't never really liked him as a coach, but Deion improved as a coach every year. Every year he's at Jackson State, he got better every year. He came to Colorado, got better. The reason why Deion winning right now is he got a good coaching staff. He improved his coaching staff. That's
like
why
which coaches? You mean like the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or like everybody?
I think he replaced them both.
Well, Shermer was in the building, right? But no, I agree. But Joe, did you watch on Saturday? It does feel like sometimes, though, that the special teams, like there's mistakes. Like it does feel like the team, and what Maggie said, like they brought everybody together. Sometimes it does feel like they sort of make mistakes as you would with a new team.
Yeah, but he's making mistakes because he came in to try to build a whole new team. He only been there for a couple of years, so he don't got all the guys he wants. But if he stayed there for a couple more years and get the guys he wants, they'll be deep in players. But they're not that deep.
Well, Joe, to be fair, I don't know if that's Deion's strategy, at least not right now. Thank you for the phone call. He's not in high schools, right? He'll tell you that. He's not going to high schools, and he's not trying to do a lot of the recruiting there. They're going to do it mostly from the portal. So you're going to have a lot of turnover. But what they've done so far this year, okay, has it been the who's who, of who they're playing? It's not an SEC schedule, I'll grant you that, but they're 7-2 after winning 4 games last season, and they've put themselves in a good position to make this playoff. It's pretty impressive.
Do you believe that?
There are some plays where the team drives Deion crazy too, which just cracks me up. Yeah. And Shador is just like, well, I'm going to stand back here for about 19 seconds, and you guys all stink. I'm going to make every play. Again, we'll see if that works in the playoff. Which now you've all convinced me they are definitely going to.
Well, they got to get there. I mean, BYU is finding different ways to win, including a controversial one on the road against Utah on Saturday night. We'll get more into that. Basically, there's 2 themes of the show this morning. 1, how many teams blew it over the weekend? And 2, Perloff owning up to stuff. And that's basically your Monday.
Sort of half owning up to stuff. I'm still finding like the few positive things I said. I have not been a total killer on Deion in Colorado. I felt like last year everybody built him up and then everybody jumped off so hard. Like when they were 3-0 and Gus Johnson was openly cheering for them in the broadcast, like I was like, well, this is ridiculous. And then when they got all bad, I was like, well, it's not that bad. He's at his first year. I think I've been closer to middle of the road than Joe says I am.
Gus Johnson's rooting for everybody.
Get out of here. I mean, that was ridiculous last year. And that's not true either. I mean, Gus likes the big, flashy story.
No doubt. I mean, and he always rises to the occasion with the calls. Andrew Bogish is with us with some headlines. Hey, Bogs.
Good morning again. These headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance. Jared Goff's 5 picks are the headlines, but don't forget about C.J. Stroud's 2.
Stroud fakes the give, boots to his right, being chased by Pascal. Wow. Throws downfield. It is up and picked up by the Lions. Yes. Intercepted by Carlton Davis, who ran under it.
Wonder what Maggie heard in there. The call from Lions radio. Stroud had Tank Dell wide open in the end zone for a touchdown that would have made it 30-17. And helped my fantasy team as well, but he threw a floater, and Carlton Davis ran it down.
I blame this on me. I got to be better in those moments. So, yeah, it's really just got to go down and score in the red zone, and the defense is getting the turnovers like they were. So, you got to be able to, reward them with points, and that's something we didn't do. So, I feel like I'm the one to blame.
Both of Stroud's INTs came in the second half when Houston didn't score a single point letting a 23-7 halftime lead become a 26-23 loss to the Lions. Jake Bates tied the game with a 58-yard field goal with 5 minutes left, then won it from 52 at the buzzer, officially erasing those 5 picks from Jared Goff. The Lions 8-1 for the first time since 1954. The Eagles embarrassed the Cowboys in Dallas 34-6 after the Commanders came up short at home to the Steelers 28-27. So Philly is in first place in the NFC East this morning. The Bills, meanwhile, kept their stranglehold on the AFC East with some defense in Indy.
Flacco back to pass, pocket collapsing, and it's picked off! Taron Johnson at the 22, working his way back, cuts it all the way across the field, has Rasul Douglas blocking, 5, touchdown Buffalo! The first offensive play for the Colts is a touchdown for the Bills!
That from Bills Radio, Joe Flacco, 5 giveaways in his latest start for the Colts. Buffalo is 8-2 after this 30-20 final. They are 5 games clear of the Jets and Patriots in the loss column. Gang Green took a 31-6 beating in Arizona yesterday, while New England smothered the Bears 19-3. Caleb Williams sacked 9 times. It doesn't matter much more this time of year, but Oregon is once again the unanimous number 1 in the AP college football poll. The CFP rankings come out tomorrow night. Far from all of that is Florida State, 1-9 right now. Mike Norvell firing offensive coordinator Alex Atkins, DC Adam Fuller, and wide receivers coach Ron Dugans yesterday. Now, Miami...
What were they waiting for? How bad did it have to get? It's like, wow, this loss to Notre Dame, that was the final indignity? Like, this has been a season from the absolute brink of depths of you-know-where.
I just feel bad for the wide receiver coach. Like, you knock out both coordinators. Like, that's the head of the snake right on each side. And they're like, and by the way, Ron, you got to go too. Like, get out. We hired your boss,
Bye,
but your receivers extra suck, so get out of here.
Did you guys see the stat that every single Florida football team lost on Saturday and Sunday?
Yes.
That's amazing. Because as bad as Florida State, I was going to say, they do have one defense. Hey, have you looked across the state of Florida? They're bad too.
Yep.
Is that? So I think everybody should be fired. The entire lot of Florida. Doug Peterson fired.
We'll see tonight. The Dolphins play tonight. The Dolphins have a shot. They can rescue the state.
Yeah, actually, the Bucs. No one's getting fired with the Bucs, right? Or actually, maybe they will.
No,
not today.
But eventually, but Florida State. Florida, would you talk about when Maggie was wrong? Do you still want to keep Billy Napier there?
Man, I was dead wrong about that. But there had to have been something to the timing there. It's like, all right, let's give him a vote of confidence because we think we're about to get the doors blown off of us.
So you think it was a brilliant move by the AD? Let's give him a vote of confidence and then not show up at all.
Well, it might have been a little calculated. Like, this could get really bad. So let's get in front of it so the recruits don't suddenly flip. But they might anyway.
Got it.
It's a dark day.
They're not flipping to Florida State because Ron's gone. Ron did all the recruiting.
Oh, my gosh. Ron, he's got to be waking up today. Like, why?
Was that a real name, Bogus, or was that just a generic
No,
name?
His name is Ron Dugans.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were just talking about, and Ron, you're out. I thought you were just making it up. Like, Ron, what exactly do you do around here?
Pearl, when you mentioned that note about Florida football, there was a grunt from EJ because Miami didn't win this weekend, but he did get an 88-80 victory from number 6 Gonzaga over Arizona State yesterday. The Zags getting 21 points off the bench from Braden Huff. However, Gonzaga product Chet Holmgren had a far worse night.
Corner right to Wiggins, down the baseline, challenging Chet, lays it up, lays it home. How about a push-off on Andrew Wiggins as Chet is down? Chet is down holding his right hip.
Yeah, he stayed there holding that hip, and I think audibly moaning on the TV broadcast as well. That was Matt Pinto on Thunder Radio. Chet Holmgren has a broken pelvis from that fall while trying to block a shot. The Thunder say their next update on him is not for 8 to 10 weeks. They lost this game to the Warriors 127-116. The Kings snapped a Suns 7-game win streak, 127-118 in OT in Phoenix. And the Nuggets held off the Mavs 122-120. Another monster triple-double from Nikola Jokic, 37 points, 18 rebounds, and 15 assists.
Heavens.
And Joey Logano won his third NASCAR season title yesterday, beating Ryan Blaney in Phoenix. Blaney failing to become the first repeat champ since Jimmy Johnson's 5-peat back from 2016 through 2020. Guys, back to you.
Bogish, thanks so much. Got so much to do, including the M&P 500, whose stock is up and whose stock is down after a big weekend. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Welcome to the M&P 500. Buckle the fuck up. Who's on the rise and who just fucked up? Maggie and Perloff breaking shit down. Who's on top and who's the damn clown? Up and down, we're calling it out. Who's kicking ass and who's got clout? The M&P 500, the realest damn show. Winners and losers, you fucking know. QB's a legend, or a coach in the shit who's feeling great and who's in the pit. From courts to fields, we're laying the bare. Find out who the fuck's going nowhere. Up and down, we're calling it out. Who's kicking ass and who's got clout? The M&P 500, the realest damn show. Winners and losers, you fucking know. QB's a legend, or a coach in the shit who's feeling great and who's in the pit. From courts to fields, we're laying it bare. Find out who the fuck's going nowhere. Up and down, we're calling it out. Who's kicking ass and who's got clout? The M&P 500, the realest damn show. Winners and losers, you fucking know. Every touchdown, every slam. Who's got the edge and who's in a jam? Maggie and Perloff, we're keeping it real. Sports weekend highs and the lows you feel. Up and down, we're calling it out. Who's kicking ass and who's got clout? The M&P 500, the realest damn show. Winners and losers, you fucking know. So tune in, folks. Don't miss the ride. Maggie and Perloff, your weekend guide. The M&P 500, we'll see you next time. The weekend's ranks and the sports world's climb.
Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. All right, on Monday's got so much to get to. There's so many wild moments of this weekend, both college and pro. So let's hit the M&P 500. Or a little ODB.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
Okay, there we go. Well, stock up, stock down, Pearl, on what we saw over the weekend. Would you like to have the honors?
Can I do my first stock up is a guy who actually did not play this weekend, but it's Lamar Jackson's MVP odds because everybody around him, except for your guy Josh Allen, is out of the running. Like Jared Goff cannot throw 5 interceptions in a game and be the MVP. That's out. Patrick Mahomes is just not playing well this year. He's
How
5.
they won yesterday was the miracle of miracles, but yeah.
Jaden Daniels is coming down to earth. I guess Jalen Hurts or Kyler Murray can make a move, but it seems like a two-person race now with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and no one else is even close. And that being said, the Bills' schedule is so bad that they're not even going to need Josh Allen to really do heroics. The Ravens have this terrible defense. They're going to need Lamar to keep on putting up numbers. I think Lamar is going to win his 3rd MVP, and I think that is obvious at this point.
Hold on, though. Defensive Josh Allen, they still have to play the Lions, the 49ers, and the Chiefs.
Yeah, but they're in the AFC East.
Well, they've dominated the division, but he still has marquee games to show off and potentially win it. That's what I'm saying.
That's probably true, but as you said, like those games aren't really going to matter. I think towards the end, they're going to have to they're not going to have him running for his life against the Dolphins in week 16 or something.
I wonder if he even plays in that game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wonder where it feels like Lamar Jackson is going to really have to go all out the rest of the year because that defense, that's one advantage. Their defense allowed up 38 points a game. Lamar is a statistical monster.
My first stock up is actually for someone who was a guest on this show at one point. And it is the former special teams coach, now head coach of the New Orleans Saints. His name is Darren Rizzi, and he was elevated to the interim head coach, Perloff, after Dennis Allen was mercifully relieved of his duties. And speaking of being relieved, here is Rizzi after the Saints win over the Falcons yesterday, talking about how his day started.
This is how my day started. I get down here to the stadium, I get down here to Superdome, I go in the head coach's locker room, which I've never used before, right? So here I am early in the morning, I go to the bathroom, and this is how my day started. I clogged the toilet. And I'm like, this is going to be a crappy day, pun intended.
More from Rizzi. Thought it was a bad omen that he clogged the toilet.
I'm like, okay, this is not really a great start to the day. Here we go. And so, I'm not really feeling like a head coach of an NFL team right now. So I'm like, really? This is really how we're going to start my days?
I love it. Such a Larry David moment for a head coach. You finally get the top job. You waited this your whole life, and you clog the toilet. And then the poor janitor who's got to come in and has to unclog it. But can we not root for him to get the head job?
Oh, yeah.
For the quotes alone.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, everyone gets excited about interim coaches when they win their first game. It rarely works. You just have to remember that.
No, but I just want it for like the
entertainment.
Quotability.
Yeah. I mean,
this is game one, and he clogged the toilet, and we all know about it.
Yeah, but you think about like it's like Bisaccia and Antonio Pierce. Like the interim coaches always got great one-liners, but do they build sustained success? Anyway, I hear you. That is a good reason to root for him. Okay, stock down.
Yeah.
I saw the dumbest play, and nobody else was watching this game except for me. The Minnesota Vikings played Mac Jones and the Jacksonville Jaguars. They should have just called the game at halftime. It was so poorly played, so poorly executed, so mailed in.
Yeah.
The last meaningful play of the game, the Jaguars stopped the Vikings with a chance to get the ball back to possibly go on a game-winning drive. Trayvon Walker, former number 1 pick, throws a punch and gets a personal foul that gives the Vikings a first down. The Jags have lost it, and they should fire my guy Doug Peterson tomorrow. Like, this team is they're so bad. I think they're ruining their future too. Like, they got to fire him and say we're not going to accept this. It was the single dumbest play I've ever seen. I like Trayvon Walker. I think he's like kind of sneaky talented. They've thrown away this season. They've thrown it in the garbage. And I know Shad Khan doesn't like it either, but I think it's time to really just pull back and say, what are we doing as a franchise?
Yeah, I see that as a Belichick destination more than the Cowboys.
But they're so bad, though.
Yeah, we got Trevor Lawrence. If he's healthy, is Trevor Lawrence even elite? Definitely not, but...
That's weird that you say that. You're right, but when you say Bill Belichick's going to have a choice of the Giants, the Cowboys, maybe even the Eagles, and like he's going to take the Jags?
Well, he'll have full control, that's for sure.
Yeah, good point.
My stock down is for Matt Eberflus and the Chicago Bears. The Fire Flus chants were audible on TV. You got smoked by the Patriots, and Jaden Daniels looks very good despite a loss yesterday. Drake May looked good in a win over them. Even Bo Nix is coming along, and Caleb Williams is back there getting sacked behind an offensive line that is just totally injured, and they're not helping him at all. So here is a caller to 670 The Score in Chicago, which is part of the Odyssey family, talking about Matt Eberflus, and this guy's fired up.
I'm out today again against the team and get slaughtered at home. Now you're facing the Packers, Minnesota, and Detroit back-to-back weeks. And you expect this. And tomorrow morning, he's going to go and meet the Bears media, and he's going to say we had a meeting and everything is great. And we're all on the same page. Well, what page are they on? He's full of crap. He should be fired right this minute.
And I'm a sucker for a Midwestern accent. Here's more from this radio caller to 670 The Score in Chicago. Said Eberflus leaving Caleb Williams in the game late to take more punishment is it's unforgivable.
And what he did to Caleb Williams again today, under 2 minutes, losing by 16 points, and he's getting the crap kicked out of him. And he leaves him in the game to get his head bashed in. I hope Caleb Williams' father tonight, I hope he tweets something so bad that it gets Matt Eberflus fired.
We are just, I'm sorry to laugh. I'm not trying to laugh at this gentleman's pain. It's just I can feel him sitting in your Toyota front seat, just calling Sports Talk Radio. Just I hope the dad tweets something. That's how bad this thing has gotten.
In the parking lot of an Arby's.
You're just alone and just upset, and you got nowhere else to put your feelings but to call 670 The Score.
Oh.
Keep it up.
Love it. All right, do we have time for another stock up?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we got to mention Lane Kiffin. And maybe they stormed the field a little early. Maybe we don't know how good Ole Miss really is. But, man, they stepped up in a huge way with the win this year. I just saw their number 10 AP rankings. I think they have an angle to get into the playoff. And I think the one thing about Lane Kiffin, if you watch the game, Ole Miss, Georgia, I think he was very serious in this game. You could tell, his reputation was on the line. He had his team, even with a quarterback injury, playing full on. He didn't get the night game, but it felt like a night game there. The crowd was into it. I thought that was a real step for Ole Miss.
Definitely. Lane Kiffin we were making the comparisons to James Franklin. When's he going to finally win a big game? And he did convincingly. And then the thing about, Carson Beck, if you want to do a little stock down, they did an update during the game where they said his big goals this season were to win a national title, win the Heisman, and become the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. I'm like, well.
Not looking good.
Yeah, maybe
they could win the title.
Revisit that vision board.
They could definitely win the title. No. They're third in odds. I think they're second or third in odds.
Can I do one last stock up because we don't have a lot of time? But obviously the Kansas City Chiefs keep getting either lucky or good, or I don't know. It's a combination. They stay unbeaten because they blocked a field goal by the Broncos at the end of the game. And this is how it sounded on the Chiefs Spanish language broadcast.
Se acomoda hacia adelante, la patada, el bloqueo gana, se bloquea esta jugada y Kansas City se lleva la victoria del día de hoy. Hay bloqueo,
Los Broncos la fallan. Los Broncos no pueden hacerla. Y los Kansas City Chiefs se llevan la victoria cuando esperábamos un gol de campo. Kansas City y tapa este ovoide y se llevan la victoria por 2 puntos.
And for translation, we go to our own Manny Rodriguez.
The field goal was blocked. Kansas City wins. Field goal was blocked.
What was the other 25 seconds?
Repeating the same thing, yes.
Well, blockeo I got. I didn't need Rosetta Stone for that one. But that sounded really fun, and obviously the Chiefs find a way. They always find a freaking way.
Well, I don't know about that.
9-0.
They definitely, they're starting to, you laughed at me when I said they're the 10-1 Eagles from last year. What is going on?
They're not the 10-1 Eagles.
Well, I don't know. You cannot, did you see the pass where Mahomes threw it out of bounds to Xavier Worthy? Where Xavier Worthy was wide open. They are a non-threatening offense right now.
At least they like each other. The Eagles, I think, were about to have a mutiny last year. Okay, lots more to do, including more people who blew it yesterday. Get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Mets fans woke up to a miracle sight. We beat Perloff Phillies for the first damn night. AJ Rose and he's got that hungry look. Sitting down for breakfast like a king in a nook. Give me that croissant and make it fucking nice. And don't forget that fresh squeezed OJ is my vice. He's just ordering big, what a fucking sight. $30 on breakfast, man, it's out of sight. And you girl lost sweat, can't escape this shit. Lost the bet, now he's paying, it's a hell of a fit. 2 eggs on the side and don't skip on the cheese. I want it all fresh, make me weak in the knees. And that fresh squeezed OJ, I want a fucking glass. Boy, high and mighty, let's make it a fit. EJ's ordering big, what a fucking sight. $30 on breakfast, man, it's out of sight. And you're burning lost, sort and can't escape this shit.
3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
There's the snap, spot, kick away. It is up, and it is good! He got it! We're going to fly home on the wings of Jake Bates! Oh, baby! Good from 58, good from 52, and that's good enough for a victory for the Detroit Lions!
Fired up on Lions radio, and why not? This is a team that trailed 23-7 at halftime. Your quarterback throws 5, count them up, 5 interceptions, and you still walk away a winner. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. That was a crazy one, and, you know, the Lions, Perloff, maybe one of their best wins of the season. I think Green Bay was also a really good win in Lambeau. And if you're Houston, you've got to feel just like nothing is going right over the last 2 weeks.
So I want to get this right because you're using Chris Collinsworth logic here, that's one of your best wins. Is it better to win like 47-10 than to win a 5 interception game 23-22? I think, or whatever the score was. Sorry if I have it.
The final score was 26-23.
Right. Isn't it better to blow somebody out than to win, I will call it a lucky game? And here's the only reason, because if I had to pick a Super Bowl team right now, it'd be the Lions. But you did see when Jared Goff doesn't have the run game, he is quite mortal. So that, I think, is the big issue with the Lions. I actually came away a touch worried about them, even though there is reason to appreciate their quote-unquote grit.
Yeah, no, I don't think you really learn a lot about your team when you beat the Titans 52-14.
Right, but there's a lot of metrics that Super Bowl teams tend to blow out a lot of teams.
Right, so they've got that too. Yeah. You know, they've got big wins 47-9 over the Cowboys. You know, they've got the massive win against the Titans, as I said. They still did beat the Packers by 10 on the road. Seahawks, they destroyed. So they have that too. 5-0 on the road, I think no matter how you slice it, is impressive. And the Texans are going through a bit of a mini slump here, partly due to injuries, partly due to some terrible second halves where they cannot make an adjustment back to an adjustment. They have not scored a touchdown in the second half since in weeks. I think 2 weeks through week 6, against the Patriots. That's not good. So I'm seeing a little bit of a downward trend here with Houston. But even still, they're a division leader. They are a contender. So I think for the Lions to come away with a win, I do think that is a good sign. You can win when all things are going against you.
So the Lions have gotten through most of the hard part of their schedule. They have a couple games remaining. I think that what I saw last night is like the Lions, I think, are to give one away. And I don't mean that in like a really super meaningful way. I felt like they tried to give away last night's game. Just like they're a bit of one of these. They have the greatest show on turf, high wire act feel. Like their offense usually overwhelms people. I did see C.J. Stroud in the first half, especially. He had a lot of time. I don't think the Lions got more. Actually, Lee McNeil did get a sack, but generally, like you got to remember, they did lose their defensive player of the year, Nathan Hutchinson. I do feel good about the Lions, but I can walk away and say, "Ooh, this is a bit." There's some warts on this team.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, the interceptions were not so egregious. There was a lot of tip passes, tip balls that the Houston defenders really had to be super athletic to come down with these. and you got some timely kicking. I don't know. I think this was, to me, I'm going to be honest, I thought this was more about Houston. This is a good win for Detroit, and we should sing their praises today. But to me, it was more about Houston. This was a team that the bar got set very high for. And the last 2 weeks, to lose to the Jets on the road, the Jets are a terrible team. And then to get a mini bye, come home, have a lead, and not be able to salt it away in the second half or just keep your foot on the gas, that is alarming to me.
Yeah, I guess alarming depending on where your expectations are for the team. The only thing I would say is get Nico Collins back in there, get Will Anderson in there, and then let's judge him. I think Nico Collins, because he's not a big name, he's not like, I don't know, CeeDee Lamb or Tyreek Hill. I think he might be the most impactful injury out there because he's probably, I mean, I saw a stat, he is so far and away the most efficient receiver in the game right now. He's averaging 102 yards a game. The next closest guy is like 85 yards a game. If you put Nico Collins in that game last night, I think C.J. Stroud feels much more comfortable. Because Stroud was searching desperately for plays, running around like crazy, just trying to find someone to throw to. And the Diggs injury, too. Like, those two combined have really, really hurt this team.
Yeah, I get it. But, see, here's the reason why it's hard for me to use that as an excuse. They scored 23 points in the first half. And I get it. Jared Goff threw 3 picks. But it's like you don't have a problem scoring in the first half. So we're not talking about the Diggs injury. We're not talking about Nico Collins in the first half, but then we're going to talk about him in the second half. Like, where's the logic there?
They should have, with all those turnovers, they should have had a lot more points. Like, they had a chance to put it away early, and they kind of blew it in the first half, too.
So they scored 10 points off of 5 turnovers. You're right. That's not enough. A touchdown and a field goal off of 5 turnovers, that's got to be a lot. You got to make people pay a lot worse than they were able to do.
Yeah, they were just not moving the ball. And I know Joe Mixon well because he was Andy Dalton's running back a couple times. He will giveth and taketh. Like, that guy will run into the line and get a 1-yard loss again and again and again. So Bobby Slowick, their offensive coordinator, is really committed to the run, and it was just burning them last night. They just put Stroud in so many tough positions. I'm curious what they learned from this. Yeah, you're right. It's definitely concerning. I'm just going to give them a little bit of a respite.
855-212-4227. Yeah, so the Lions go to 8-1, even though Goff threw 5 picks. Again, not all of them his fault. We basically have 2 themes of the show today. One is Perloff is owning up to stuff that he feels like he may have gotten wrong or partially wrong, just about sports in general. And the second is teams that blew it. And we're going to have a ranking later of 5 teams and people and things that really blew it bad this weekend. And I don't know if the Jets are going to make your list, Perloff, but not even just yesterday's game to go to Arizona and get smoked by the Cardinals, but this whole season. Because you kept doubling down and doubling down. Who else does Rodgers need? Adams. Okay, we already have Lazard here. We already got his offensive coordinator. Okay, he had to get put to the side. All of the things, like, they just kept going deeper with Rodgers and whatever he needed. It's not been good. Hit the music, Manny.
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
Normally this is a quote, but I believe we have a highlight for this today, yes? No? Yes, we do have a highlight. What's up with Aaron Rodgers sound a little like this.
Rodgers escapes. Rodgers, football's out.
Bad. That was bad. That was at the goal line, and Rodgers gets caught from behind because he can't move.
Yep.
And it was just a disaster, Perloff. And now Rodgers is getting pretty short with the media, talking about how emotional these things are. They're asking him to elaborate. He's not doing it. It's not the right time or place. I mean, this has just been a brutal season. They've got 3 wins.
Totally. Yesterday, not on Rodgers, in my opinion. Let me just read you the drive charts. First drive, Cardinals, 6 plays, 70 yards, touchdown. Second drive, Cardinals, 9 plays, 70 yards, touchdown. Third drive, Cardinals, 10 plays, 76 yards, touchdown. What on earth happened to the Jets defense, Maggie?
They're gone. They're a shade and shell of themselves. I mean, and I know Sauce Gardner has been wearing it a lot, but he has Trey McBride caught. And then somehow McBride gets out of it and continues for another 5 yards. The tackling has just been atrocious.
The guy glows in the dark.
I have no idea who he was talking about there. I have one for you. By the way, Rodgers has never been, was it 3-7? He's never been 3-7 in his career as a professional that spanned 20 years. Yeah, you're not in Green Bay anymore.
Well, they weren't 3-7 that last year in Green Bay when he was thinking about shutting it down the whole time.
I don't think so.
They were close.
I don't think so.
How about this from Rich Cimini of ESPN? The Jets defense missed 20 tackles, tied for the most by any team in a game this season. And a Jets fan site added on that the Cardinals running backs carried the ball 28 times on the day, and the Jets missed 20 total tackles.
Don't be a freaking weirdo.
EJ, I know it was a tough weekend for you, pal. Miami Hurricanes go down to Georgia Tech. Then the Jets. Even the Knicks lost last night. You really can't buy a bucket right now.
He's a bum.
It wasn't fun, but good news for me, I've emotionally removed myself from the Jets situation.
Okay.
They can't hurt me. And I'm sitting there again with friends watching this game as the Jets try to embarrass me. And I said, nope, not happening. I am not invested in this team until Aaron Rodgers steps on the field, goes right to midfield at MetLife Stadium and says, I'm sorry for what's happened. I'm officially retiring as quarterback for the New York Jets in the National Football League. When that happens, I'm right back in. Until then, I watch the games, watch them get smoked every week, and I'm not going to get myself upset about this.
But that's an out.
I don't think so.
That's an out, EJ. What if he says, I'm retiring, and then comes back and plays for the Dolphins or something?
He can play wherever the hell he wants.
But you know what happened with Favre.
This ain't Brett Favre. This is not Brett Favre.
He is exactly Brett Favre. There are no two human beings on the planet who are more alike than Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre.
I know what you're saying, but Brett Favre looked better than this. Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked right from the beginning. Brett Favre gave me a couple of months where he looked pretty good. This has been bad from the start.
Well, yeah, Favre was healthy to start his first season with the Jets, and then he got hurt as opposed to Rodgers got hurt right away. It's just amazing to me how quickly this changed. It was, he's the savior who's going to come and win a Lombardi, to you cannot wait to get this guy out of town.
Go to a pub and have a Guinness?
I think that's the feelings of a lot of the fan base. And I think Perloff is not wrong. I don't know if Rodgers was not the number one issue yesterday. But the problem, again, becomes this is supposed to be a premium. You have a quarterback. So, all right, when the defense is having a really bad game, he can keep you in it. And they go to the red zone, and they're settling for field goals. They can't convert fourth down. Like, he can't keep up with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Again, this is supposed to be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but you're not seeing real Aaron Rodgers. You could tell the injury affects every single thing he does. He's going to be a different player next year for some other team.
I'm surprised he keeps getting up. There was an awkward one yesterday where it looked like his cleat got stuck in the turf or whatever it is, grass out there. I know they got some
like a combination.
Combos.
Yeah,
something.
It's technically grass, but yeah.
But it got caught, and I was like,
that's
terrifying. That's it. And it's like, no, he's actually got up.
I'm offended.
Went into the tent at one point. I think he's going to be a different player next year. I think he just needed a year to understand what was going on with his body. That sounds like such an Aaron Rodgers thing, in a holistic way.
The only slither I think Aaron Rodgers has is, whether it's with the Jets or any other team, he needs to go someplace where they just throw out anything involving old Packers-type offense. Because everything the Jets do looks so hard. You have Devontae Adams, you have Garrett Wilson, you have Breece Hall. These guys are just supposed to get the ball in space from time to time. They're not supposed to be, they get the ball and there's 10 guys next to them. Like, everything looks so hard. I think part of it is because they don't scheme anybody open. Aaron Rodgers thinks he can just throw it in any window, or you just do this little hand signal and he's going to get to the right spot. And it's not working. He needs to get to a Ben Johnson or get to one of these one of these high-powered offensive coaches who can say, listen, Aaron, I know how you did it 8 years ago under the old Mike McCarthy offense that you kind of jigsawed into your own thing. That's dead. You need to play new school football.
You're going to teach a 41-year-old quarterback a brand new offense? What are you talking about?
This offense sucks. I don't think that he can do what he's trying to do right now with any team. That's why I'm not convinced it's going to work.
I got to tell you right now, you're going to get what you deserve here. He's going to go somewhere else and be awesome next year.
I'm going to disagree with both of you guys on this thing. If you think Rodgers is going anywhere, you're out of your skulls. He is coming back next year. He's got the keys to the whole organization. Devontae Adams is here. No, there's no, he's going to go to Miami. That's not happening.
Big shout out to all the women backing up the fellas.
If he's going to play next year, it's going to be with the Jets.
That'd be nice if they could get in Miami, though.
By the way, Adams, 13 targets yesterday. He had 6 catches for 31 yards. He's got to be like, what am I doing here? But you know what? That's on him too. And by the way, the amount of times that both Rodgers and Davante Adams have cited a lack of energy by the team is also, frankly, quite embarrassing. You're off the mini bye. You should be rested. You go on the road. They were favored in this game, which felt weird. No energy?
I mean,
that doesn't make sense.
I don't buy it, honestly. Like, at a certain point, you can't keep every time you lose saying we lost because we had no energy. You're just a bad team. But you're a bad team. You're overrated. The players you thought were better are not that good. Your offensive line to be overhauled is too old and not up to snuff. They're just not good. Every time they lose, it's energy. It's like, no, the other team's better.
Do you remember when Robert Saleh got fired, and one of the reasons was because the owner said this is the best Jets team of the last 25 years?
What in the was that?
That was laughable when he said that.
But that being said, like,
bad, but come on,
you do
man.
have an interim. Like, Jeff Ulbricht's your coach right now. Like, I'm not sure your expectations should have been that high. And he's got is he still trying to call the defensive plays and be the coach?
Yes.
That's a disaster. I mean, come on. I mean, they fired Saleh. That was a huge mistake. They probably would have eked out another win or two. So I think the question, I'm telling you, he's Favre. He's going to have another good year. It's in him. I really believe it. Probably, you're right, Maggie, because of the cap, it probably will be with the Jets. I'm just very curious what they do. If they can fix a lot of these things, I think Rodgers looks okay. The guy still kind of slings it a little bit.
I think it's
he's
about
got the
hubris
arm.
why he's still going to be with the Jets. I think that he feels like he and he alone can fix it.
Brett Favre. He's got this huge cap hit. I don't think he can go anywhere else, and he definitely doesn't want to go out this way. I got one. What if he went to Cleveland? No, that would be awesome.
Going against the Ravens and those defenses? Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know. But
Please,
imagine,
Aaron
I'm just
Rodgers,
picturing
go to
him and
Cleveland.
Deshaun Watson in the locker room together, just what would be said and what would happen.
Oh, my gosh. It'd be like some bizarro presidential ticket in the year 2040.
He should go indoors. Like, he should go to New Orleans or should go to Miami. Like, he ain't young. He's got to find a warmer spot than New York.
You don't see a problem just fundamentally. I know it's a little Jets insider, but you don't. To me, their offense fundamentally looks wrong. It just doesn't look smooth.
No, it's
Nothing
hard.
Looks easy. Everything is hard.
EJ, he had one pass yesterday that went over 10 air yards. It's Aaron Rodgers. Like, this is the best. The biggest offensive play of the game was a dump off to Breece Hall that went for 15 yards. That was it.
And those are their best chances of making any big plays right now.
Well, he just can't, like, his secret sauce was always pocket movement. He can't do anything. He's just a statue. And you also, you trade for a 30-something-year-old receiver. That usually doesn't work out, and it's clearly not working out here.
855-212-4227. All right, so this season's over for the Jets, but what about next year? Is Rodgers still in New York? And this is what's a bummer about it for EJ and the like, is that Denver lost yesterday on the last-second blocked field goal by the Chiefs. Indy lost yesterday to my Buffalo Bills. So you thought, here's the lane. Like, and if the Jets had won yesterday, then it's like, oh, you can see the path and the wild card and all of that. And
Really?
Nope.
I feel like they're going to be 5-12. Is that really
No,
like
before the game started,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
were like, all right, these things are breaking right for the Jets to sneak back
I
into the
didn't think-
playoffs.
I never thought that. I just for the clear, they were
That's
favored
just
against
the
Arizona. Well, I mean,
like the math.
Well, I think I said on the show when, like, actually you and EJ were both talking about, like, they're 3-6. What are you talking about? Or they were actually 2-6, right, at a certain point.
Yep.
Like, they had no room for error whatsoever. I was not. I don't understand. Can you explain this spread to me too?
I can't. There were a couple wrong teams favored.
Well, people don't trust the Arizona Cardinals. That is a fact.
I think they might be good.
They might be good, but
they might be good.
But again, like their level of competition is so bizarre. Like you just do not know. There are a lot of. That's the story of the NFL to me. Like, you know, like you beat this team. Like the Eagles beat the Cowboys. Does that mean anything? The Vikings beat the Jags. Does that mean anything? The Cardinals beat this Jets team. This Jets team might be awful.
The Cardinals also beat the 49ers, but does that mean anything?
But did they beat them or did the 49ers creatively hand them away by having 19 special teams mistakes?
Well, here's the thing about the Arizona Cardinals. It's pretty fun when you watch Kyler Murray throwing those back shoulder passes to Marvin Harrison Jr. That looks like something.
Yeah,
Trey McBride
but then,
has been very good. Like, they don't have, besides Marvin Harrison, they don't have this who's who receiving core. And the defense, name 5 people on that defense besides Budda Baker. Can't do it. It's impressive.
But then there'll be a game where Kyler throws for 130 yards, too. He's not, again, I think there's still some mystery around this Cardinals team. But, I mean, you've been on him. I think James Conner is a stud as long as he's leading the way. He's like the toughest dude I've ever seen in my life. I think the Niners, for example, if they play again, I would not bet on the Cardinals in that game.
855-212-4227. All right, so last night's game, Lions win despite 5 interceptions from Jared Goff. They kick a game-winning field goal at the buzzer. 2 50-plus yard field goals in an epic comeback. 19 unanswered points they scored against the Houston Texans, and so the Lions moved to 8-1. And then you want to see real darkness. Forget that hovel that Aaron Rodgers was living in for 4 days. This is real darkness. Just getting your clock cleaned on the road to the Arizona Cardinals, and now that season is in free fall. Lots more to do, including a full ranking of who blew it yesterday. Maggie and Perloff.
All right, Maggie. Football season in full swing. I won last night on Jahmyr Gibbs, who I always bet the over on. Tonight I'm relying on Puka Nacua, and I'm talking about Prize Picks. Best place to get real money sports action while watching football. With over 10 million members, billions of dollars in awards winning. It's made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. So easy. You just pick a player or 2 players, pick more or less on their projection. You could win up to 100 times your money.
Okay, how about this for you? Would you like a little Tyreek Hill, more than 75.5 receiving yards, and you compare that with a little Josh Giddey, more than 5.5 assists? See, this is the cool part about Prize Picks, when you get to do multiple picks over different sports. Didn't even mention the flex play, so I'm going to do that right now, where you can cash out if one of your picks doesn't hit. This has been the obsession of Perloff and I all season long, and we want you to get on board. Just download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code M&P. Some people think that's pronounced MAND-P. It's not. M&P. Get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. That's code M&P on Prize Picks to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states where it's lawful to wager. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
MAND-P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff show. I love the topic line for Adrian Maryland. It's very funny to me. It's about the New York Jets. Let's go to Adrian. Adrian, I'll let you say it. What do you think of the Jets' playoff chances?
Hey, they're dead and gone. They're dead and gone, as I told EJ. I know he's a Jets fan, and I want to tell him, maybe, maybe not. But I'm a Cowboys fan. Come sit on the seat, on the sofa with us, start watching the games, and get the draft pick. Aaron Rodgers is not 28 years old anymore. Everybody's they're during games that they're favored to win, and they shouldn't be. They got Tyron Smith that's old. The only one that's really playing hard out there is Garrett Wilson. Devontae Smith he's old. He's 30 years old.
Devontae
Adams.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. I'm sorry. You're not getting that out of them. I don't. And when whoever the Vegas did and said the Jets were favored in that game yesterday, they didn't watch Arizona play the last few weeks.
Adrian, the line here that EJ wrote, Jets' path to playoffs never existed. We should just pin that. You know how you can pin something on your social media profile? Jets' path to playoffs never existed. It was just a figment of their imagination.
They got to their third win, and they had a win against New England, Tennessee, and a banged-up Houston team, and now they're going to make a run? It's just crazy. And Maggie, I'm 100% with you with Houston. You get 5 turnovers, that should be a blowout game. Yesterday, the Eagles got 5 turnovers, and it was a blowout. So I'm on Detroit's bandwagon. They're good, but that game, Houston has to win that game somehow. I don't care who's out, who they have, and who they don't have as far as a receiver. 5 turnovers, and then C.J. Stroud gives it back to him, I think, 3 times. Did he throw 3 picks as well?
He threw 2. He threw 2. 2 picks yesterday for Stroud.
Two, yeah. The telecast said the teams had to combine 7 picks with halftime? Or through 3 quarters, which is...
Yeah, crazy.
I just want to console EJ. EJ, like I said, come sit on the seat with us. The good thing about you with the Jets is you only got 1 more year of it. Cowboys got 4 more years of it, and Dak's getting worse as he gets older, as you can see.
Oh, I love it, Adrian. Let's do who's more miserable, Jets fan base, Cowboys fan base. That's a great poll question.
Yeah.
Adrian, always appreciate your perspective.
Can you put both as an answer? Is that fair?
No, that's a cop-out. You got to pick one.
Well, can we put Manny's Giants on there too?
See, here's the thing about the Giants yesterday. Manny, Bogish is here, both Giants fans. You had that game yesterday, but you know the season is long over. Now you're going for draft pick status to try to replace Daniel Jones. So that loss yesterday was actually a good thing in the long run.
Yeah, but sneak peek, you're going to blow that draft pick. Unless Joe Shane's son is making the pick, who's apparently the brilliant one who said, get Jaden Daniels no matter what you do. That is not going to go well.
The Giants need to get Shane's son and that guy who asked him the questions, what is our identity without Saquon Barkley? Because I don't know it. And then Joe Shane had no answer. Those two guys, Shane's son and random assistant, those guys should run the Giants moving forward.
Honestly, how the Giants, who so feverishly and fervently avoided Hard Knocks in training camp, right? Wouldn't do it, did not want to let people into the building that way, but thought the front office, when you've been one of the worst teams over the last, are we going on a decade here, guys? One of the worst teams in the NFL, to let everyone in on what your front office was doing. Who thought that was a good idea? I question the decision-making of anybody.
Well, there was. I mean, we did get Joe Shane's son.
Who looked up from his phone for 4 seconds to be like, you need a quarterback.
I did like the people involved. You get to like them. You just don't want them to make your draft choices. Like Joe Shane's family, Joe Shane and Dan Morgan of the Panthers being best friends. That was heartwarming.
Sure. Tell that to Bogusch and Manny who have to watch this.
Bogusch loved it. He was all hype about that silly show.
Well, here's the funny part about this is what I don't understand. I need an answer from Giants fans, and we've got 2 on the show. Daniel Jones has an injury guarantee in his contract, right? So you're how many games away? You're 7 games away from just getting out of this thing relatively scot-free, except if he gets hurt. Why is he out there? Bogusch, I'll go to you first on this one. Explain this to me.
Yeah, I can't. He shouldn't be out there for football reasons. Like the entire world at halftime yesterday was like, okay, uncle. Like
literally the world. The game was in Munich.
Somebody else needs to play quarterback for the Giants. But then you throw in the fact that they, as you just said, they lose their escape route if he's hurt and for whatever reason he can't play next year. Money gets locked in. Now they're going on their bye. This is the time to make a change for whatever reason is now with the extra time before your next game. But I don't trust them to make that decision.
I mean, why would you? Why would you? If he plays another down, everyone needs their head examined in that entire franchise.
That playoff season, the long answer is that playoff run was the absolute worst thing to happen to them because it just messed them up too much. Had they not made the playoffs, they just sucked that year 2 seasons ago. I think they'd be on a different trajectory, but that messed them up, gave them a false sense of hope, and here we are locked into him for too long, and other guys are gone, other mistakes happened. It's a disaster.
Felt bad for Tyrone Tracy yesterday. Did feel bad for him.
Germany yesterday.
I think they're going to be all right. They're soccer country, but Tyrone Tracy, the rookie, fumbled in overtime. There was another rookie for the Commanders, Newton, who jumped Johnny Newton jumped in the neutral zone. That handed the Pittsburgh Steelers the game. Just a lot of people blew it yesterday. We actually have a ranking of those coming up. Bogues, hold tight 1 second. I just want to get to Kevin in Oregon. Kevin, you want to weigh in on Mike McCarthy. You have a plan for how the Cowboys can get rid of McCarthy.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that he needs to go. And my thought is if someone brings him a dozen donuts every morning, it would be the perfect murder.
Kevin,
I'm sorry.
That is not right.
Dark, but I'm sorry. He still needs to go.
Kevin, you know what? I'm going to give you points for creativity, but I'm going to take away points for cruelty. So you come out net 0.
Death by donuts could be a lot worse, just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Of all things.
What a way to go.
Yeah. I do love myself some donuts.
How do we know that's Mike McCarthy's, Achilles heel? How do we know he's a sweets guy? He might be a savory.
True.
The eye test.
Listen.
I was about to say.
He could be more of a fried food guy and not so much a donut guy. You don't know people's palates.
I don't think it's a stretch to say Mike McCarthy might like donuts.
Why is that, Pearl?
I mean, by the way, you ever seen?
He's awake.
I love my
Everyone
favorite
awake
thing.
should like donuts.
The two coaches who were apparently matinee idol, good looking. Mike McCarthy used to be really, I think it was him, was really good looking as a young man.
Yeah.
And that coach Tom Thibodeau was like a male model Now he's like, he looks like the penguin. EJ, can you confirm?
Pearl's 100% right. You ever seen these pictures
Male
when he was
model?
Oh, he's have his shirt off.
I have the picture saved on my phone.
Of course you do.
Really? Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to have an intervention after the show.
Mike McCarthy. Look at pictures of young Mike McCarthy, Maggie. You'd be like, whoa, look at that guy.
I mean, I can squint and see it. The Tom Thibodeau, no shot. No shot. All right, folks, give us some headlines.
They're sponsored by PXG Golf. Staying long and straight on the golf course is easier than ever with PXG clubs. Take your game to a whole new level and save $10 per club at pxg.com/football and use code football.
Don't look at me, please.
The Detroit Lions are the first team since 1970 to win, despite throwing 5 interceptions and trailing by 15-plus points. Jared Goff's 3 first-half picks had them down 23-7 halfway through Sunday Night Football in Houston. He threw 2 more in the third, slowing down his team's comeback, but they did eventually finish it off.
There's the snap, spot, kick away. It is up, and it is good! He got it! We're going to fly home on the wings of Jake Bates! Oh, baby! Good from 58! Good from 52! And that's good enough for a victory for the Detroit Lions!
26-23. Bates good from 52, just inside the left upright. That 58-yarder they mentioned tied the game with 5 minutes left. Goff really appreciated the second-half shutout from their defense.
Our defense really bailed us out. They really did all day, and the guys stuck with me on offense. And I was telling them, "Hey, man, I'm good. Just hang in there, and I'm good. I'm gonna have this thing figured out." And they stuck with me.
The Lions now 5 for 5 on the road. They're 8-1 overall for the first time since 1954. Meanwhile, 2 straight losses for the Texans. They're now 6-4 overall, but still 2 games clear of the rest of the AFC South. C.J. Stroud threw 2 picks in that second half slump. Bucks Celtics yesterday afternoon gave us something fun. Giannis nearly decapitated Jaylen Brown with an elbow as he spun towards the rim. An offensive foul was called. Afterwards, Giannis offered his hand as an I'm sorry handshake, then did that move where you pull it back and fix your hair, which led to Brown saying this post-game.
Giannis is a child. I'm just focused on helping my team get a win, and that's what we did tonight.
Boston winning 113-107 over baby Giannis.
I mean, that is the lame move, though.
It is pretty lame.
He's not wrong. Jaylen Brown is not wrong.
By the way, that's the funny part of what's been going on with Giannis over the last couple days.
He's going through it right now.
And he's gone. He's gone. I mean, he's been laying breadcrumbs for this for like almost a year.
It's freaking unreal.
But now, you already said Friday, Perloff, they got beaten by
Knicks.
25 points, right?
Yeah, it's crushed, yeah.
Not competitive. And he got so mad that there was an Associated Press reporter who was in the scrum, and the guy just happened to like sigh loudly at the wrong time. He said he meant nothing by it, and Giannis was like, if you don't like it, leave, to the reporter. Unraveling. Fraying at the
we
seams
need Doc
here.
Rivers. It should be more fun than this, though. The Bucks. First of all, I'm so happy this happened. I predicted this would happen. As soon as they got rid of Adrian Griffin, I was like, this is a mistake, and they're going to this freaking clown Doc Rivers who's going to drive them into the sewer. And I thought it'd be more fun, but this has almost become sad. Like, Doc doesn't even have excuses anymore.
I know. We don't even get the spin doctor anymore. It's such a bummer.
The Thunder lost to the Warriors last night, 127-116, and they lost Chet Holmgren for a long time. He has a right pelvic fracture after crashing down on his hip after a midair collision with Andrew Wiggins. OKC says the next update on Holmgren will be in 8 to 10 weeks. LeBron, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 16 assists in the Lakers' 123-103 home win over the Raptors. Anthony Davis left that one in the third after getting poked in the eye, and that's all that happened to him. And the Sixers didn't lose yesterday. Hooray, but they did need overtime to fight off the Hornets, 107-105. College hoops, Todd Golden will coach Florida tonight against Grambling State while remaining the focus of a Title IX investigation. Multiple women have accused Golden of sexual harassment and cyberstalking. Joey Logano is the NASCAR champion for a third time. And from the NHL, our San Jose Sharks have come for a visit. 1-0 winners over the Devils in Jersey yesterday, just a few minutes away from our studios. Former Devil Mackenzie Blackwood with a 44-save shutout. Guys, back to you.
Bogish, thanks so much. Yeah, Florida. We care about women. Oh, no, we don't, actually. It's like, that's depressing. Did you guys, I know we don't do like any politics on the show because why would we? And no one wants to hear about politics from us. But did you hear the joke that they made on Saturday Night Live about Bronny James?
Oh, yeah, I did, actually.
I didn't.
It was a Weekend Update joke. So they're at the desk and they were talking about the election and they said that it was such a landslide that at one point they put Bronny in the game. It was such a blowout they put Bronny in the game. So it did make sports and politics intersecting on SNL. They'll do a better job with that than we will. Yes.
And I was going to say, by the way, while you're mentioning Weekend Update, Colin Jost, one of the co-hosts of that segment, went to the same high school as me. So in my effort to contribute to the show, I try to track down a contact for Colin Jost for Celebrity Guest Picker.
Yeah.
You'll be
How's
shocked
it going?
to hear that email has gone unanswered now on month 3.
But did you tell them it's us?
Actually, forget him. Get his wife. Might as well get Scarlett Johansson on the show.
Well,
As always,
I think
you're
if we
after
got
Colin.
Colin this year, we could do ScarJo next year once we're all friends. That seems like the natural progression.
Okay.
I mean, Colin Jost, definitely the gateway drug to Scarlett Johansson. That makes tons of sense.
You might have to go about 14 rungs down on the SNL list to get us somebody on the show. Colin Jost is going to be tough.
But he knows he knows I'm alive. We were in the school at the same time, so he
Congrats,
knows of
folks.
my existence. Not a
Nice guy.
completely
Nice
cold
guy.
Introduction.
Nice guy.
Yeah, of course. Everyone in my school was a nice guy.
He seems kind of pompous. Didn't he go to Princeton?
He went to Harvard.
I'm
Harvard.
sure he went to somewhere fancy.
Yeah.
You went to Dartmouth.
I know.
Well, yeah.
Is this some kind of weird Ivy League, like Spider-Man meme pointing at each other when you're all insufferable, or no?
Well, it's just, I thought he went to Princeton. You're right, he went to Harvard. Harvard and Princeton are particularly obnougnious. As I always tell our friend Ross Tucker.
Because all those Yaleys are real awesome. Who said nobody ever?
Yale? No. Yale people are great. Go to Princeton for a weekend, then let's have this conversation. That is
and do what? Hang out a street corner? I couldn't get in.
Go to one of their quote-unquote eating clubs. That's a whole new level of snooty.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, Bogish, thank you. Oh, I see Big Dave's on the line. Okay, Dave's got beef with us. We'll tell Dave, hold tight. Get to him. Got to get his take on the Cowboys yesterday. Even though he claims to have jumped off the Cowboys bandwagon, but he's always got an opinion about them. Get to that next. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business.
I went to a rave this weekend.
What?
Way too old for that.
You
by
went
the
to
way.
a rave? First of all, did you take a time machine to 1999?
No,
that?
raves are back.
Raves are not back.
Raves are huge, man.
They are.
Raves like old school raves, like a warehouse and glow sticks and.
Well, this wasn't in a warehouse and there were no glow sticks,
Then
but I
how
was
is
at
it
a
a
rave.
rave?
Because it was techno music of people dancing with their eyes closed. Boom, it's a rave.
That's not a rave.
It felt like a rave. It
This-
was a rave.
We're still raving in 2024.
But
I learned a
now
lot
you
of
have to
things.
go through Ticketmaster to go to a rave. This is not an abandoned warehouse like a real rave.
It was not abandoned warehouse. I would not do that because I'm too old. I'm too
Okay.
old for that. But I went
wait,
to my version of a rave.
So did you close your eyes and dance to EDM?
Yeah. And you want to know what? I wasn't on any drugs at all, but I don't do that. But I learned some things at that rave about younger people today and about people like myself, the plus 40 crowd. Probably shouldn't be at raves.
Go ahead.
Hold on. First, let me get to Big Dave. He's in Kentucky. Dave, were you watching the Cowboys and were you laughing or crying?
I did watch them, actually, and I really wasn't doing either. By the way, for the record, it would be my bet that Mike McCarthy eats fried donuts. So
Best of both. Best of both worlds.
Hey, yeah, listen, stock up, stock down real quick, and then I have a very interesting poll question for you guys.
Okay, go
stock
ahead.
Stock up Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they are playing football, probably of anybody in the league. And it makes the debate over him and Justin Fields seem more absurd with every passing game. Now, check my stock down. Hear me out. Stock down. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs. And let me tell you why. They keep skating by. They're not playing great. They keep skating by. Mother Karma is going to show up at the worst possible time in the AFC Championship game against the Buffalo Fighting Maggie Grays, and it's all going to come to fruition on that day. I believe it. It's just waiting. She's waiting for the right moment to make her appearance, and I think that's when it's going to happen.
You mean you don't think you win every game through eternity by a field goal on a last-second call? Like, it's been a thin margin for this run, right? Right, Dave?
Yeah, it's beyond that. I mean, like yesterday, it was a 35-yard field goal attempt. I mean, it wasn't like it was a 65 where the kicker had to flatten the kick. I mean, 4 players could have blocked it. I mean, it was the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. That's just...
What happened to the Broncos' O-line? Like, not a single guy even attempted a block. I don't understand what was going on.
The worst I'd ever saw. I mean, it looked like the finish of a sprint or something, and breaking across the tape. It was awful. Second thing. Poll question for you guys: which is more likely to happen? Aaron Rodgers comes back for another season next year, or Mike McCarthy gets fired before the end of this year?
Ooh, Jerry does not like to pay people not to work, Dave. You know that.
Yeah, you say that, but he also doesn't like to fire his friends. Like, that's why he kept Garrett on for 3 extra years.
This is why I think McCarthy's finishing out the season, and it's not even close. And then I think that Rodgers is going to be back.
Yeah, I don't know about I don't know. I understand what you're saying about McCarthy. You guys are probably right. But have you ever seen? You watch him on the sideline. That was something that struck me yesterday. I have never seen a more discerning-looking head coach. Nobody talks to him. He doesn't talk to anybody. I mean, it's almost like he's got BO. I mean, he's just he's in his own world. He looks so unengaged. And this team, they were laughing it up on the sideline. Mike and all of them were laughing it up. I mean, this has turned into the biggest clown show in the history of professional sports.
Wow, Dave, that's a big claim considering, the Browns exist as an organization. But, this season has just been downright terrible. Dave, you're the best. Thanks so much. The idea that Mike McCarthy may have BO did not cross my mind, but that would be a hilarious twist. He doesn't look like he has BO.
By the way, why are you picking on the Browns? At least they made the playoffs last year. You got the Jets and the Giants right here in town.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I could have
inserted there's like 9 jokes. Like Dave said, they're the biggest joke. Is that true? I guess in a way because we spent so much time talking about them, but there's a lot. There's some really bad teams this year in the NFL.
Can we get that Micah Parsons quote back up? So this was Parsons yesterday. So he's back finally after, being injured for a while. And he said this about Mike McCarthy's future when asked by Jory Epstein.
That's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But, all coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But the guys I kind of feel bad for is guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
I mean, I will sometimes wonder if Micah Parsons understands. Like, you realize these cameras and microphones are on, right? They're recording. That is not even a support defense of your coach at all. That is sad that the star player feels like they can say that about a head coach. It doesn't really matter what happens to him. He's going to be fine. Like, wish you the best of luck, pal.
Yeah, I didn't read it that way for some reason. I think that Micah was just talking as Micah does. I never, to me, like you're saying, like he was burying his coach. I think he was being flippant
about his coach. I think he was showing no regard for his coach. Like, I don't care what happens to Mike. I care about Zach Martin. I care about the offensive lineman who's put in this much time. But, it's almost like Mike McCarthy is just this afterthought. He's the head coach of the football team.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, are people taking that in Dallas as Micah Parsons going after his coach? Because for some reason, and maybe I'm being naive, I didn't feel like that was an attack. It was just a sort of an offhanded comment that I think he came out a way he didn't mean it to. I did feel like, obviously, is anyone saying, "Oh, Micah Parsons is giving up on Mike McCarthy"? Probably not, because he was actually flying around like crazy yesterday, which is bizarre because the rest of the team is bad and like he is chasing down guys left and right. I don't know. Is people saying, "Oh, Micah Parsons giving up on Mike McCarthy"? I didn't see that headline.
It was basically like, I don't care if he's here or not here.
But it was also like he's a good coach. He'll get a job wherever he wants. That's how I read it.
Doesn't he want this job? Like, wouldn't it be, I want to play for him in the future? Not, I don't care if he basically, as a coach, like if he stays or goes. That's not exactly buy-in.
I mean, they're 3-6. Wait, buy into what?
I mean, listen, if you don't think it's the coach's fault, then you defend the coaches. He definitely didn't do that. Coming up, we do the NFL in 60. Every game, 60 seconds.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Kick to win it. Oh! Blocked! The Chiefs have won! The Chiefs have won!
Kevin Harlan, who else? CBS yesterday, Perloff, and that was the moment when you know everything is just breaking right for the defending champions because they blocked that kick and it was didn't even feel like it was a high degree of difficulty. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Chiefs moved to 9-0 off of the blocked field goal, and for the Denver Broncos, just crushing because, this had just been a slog of a game, and they actually had a sizable lead. Kansas City predictably got back into the game. And then for them to win this way, I know you think they're like teetering on the brink here because they are allowing teams to hang around and they're, winning these close games. I see yesterday as just more evidence of this sort of winning when it matters, making the play when it matters, and something that feels like luck, but is actually more than that for Kansas City.
God, it's funny. I mean, this is a Broncos team that just got destroyed by the Ravens. Like, if you watch these two games back to back, 41-10 Baltimore over Denver, and then this game, you would not think that the Chiefs could hang on the same field with the Ravens. So I just worry about the lack of offense. It's not anything specific. It's just they're totally non-explosive. And they're trying to fix it. They're trying to bring in the guys. And aren't you a little concerned that they have this formula of winning close games now? It's just it's a tough way to win a title. They'll probably do it, but it's still like, can they make it a little easier? What happened to Mahomes from 3 years ago?
Well, I mean, listen, we talked about this quite a bit last week because they played on Thursday night, but it feels like you're willing to judge Joe Burrow on a totally different scale because T. Higgins is missing. I mean, how many guys have the Chiefs been missing on offense where they've had to bring people in off the street? And by the way, DeAndre Hopkins with another big third down catch yesterday, which helped them keep a drive alive. And so, they lost Pacheco, they lost Hollywood Brown, they've lost...
Hollywood Brown's a journeyman. Pacheco's a 7th-round running back. Like, these are not... That's not the same.
Yeah, but they were big parts of the offense, right? Or they were expected to be for Hollywood Brown. We never actually saw it.
Very little downgrade to Kareem Hunt.
I don't know. I mean, you're just asking, like, why does it look different? And it looks different because a lot of guys are backups out there.
You can't possibly say it looks different because Hollywood Brown isn't there. I mean, that guy's done nothing in the NFL.
We never really saw it with Hollywood Brown, but I do think losing Pacheco, they were forced to bring in Hunt. Hunt is not the same as Pacheco. And Pacheco's going to be coming back.
I kind of disagree with that. I think that they're going to split that because Hunt's been really good. Like, is there anything wrong? Again, I'm talking about explosive. Yeah, they're going to run and play defense. That is not the Chiefs I grew up with, Maggie.
Well, listen, they drafted Xavier Worthy. They were adding speed. It's not for lack of trying. I just think we haven't seen their full evolution yet. Yeah, have they been playing with fire because it's close games? Sure, but they find a way to win them. So ultimately, who cares? Are we going for style points or are we going for W's?
Well, actually, to be funny, the funny thing, it doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. Like last year, they kind of mailed in the whole regular season. They are a different team come playoffs. Right now, I think they're experimenting with things because they're like trying to figure out who they're going to be for the postseason rush. This is like one of those teams that's so good that the regular season feels like an afterthought. That's why they kind of mailed in this game against Denver. Yeah, they happened to win it, but I don't think that they were really on point for this game. And I'm not saying that it's an insult either. I just think that they kind of have a bigger goal ahead than just beating Denver in a kind of meaningless Week 10 game.
Well, I mean, it's a division game, but I get what you're saying. They're 9-0, so what does it matter? 855-212-4227. So there you go. What do you think? Kansas City, do they look like the juggernaut, or do they look like they're itching to lose? Big Dave gave us a call, thinks that they're going to lose in an epic way. I haven't seen it. So.
I feel like they'll drop like a game like they did to the Raiders last year in Christmas. There's just, and I don't think it matters. Like, it doesn't downgrade. If they lost this game, would you take anything away from their chances of winning the Super Bowl? Probably not, because come crunch time, Travis Kelce's going to come awake. Actually, he has come awake lately.
Yeah.
But he's going to be great. They're just a very, very different team. They're than the 2019 version.
855-212-4227. So that was one of the big moments from yesterday. Denver's got to be sick. I mean, that would have been such a signature win for them, and they get a 35-yard field goal blocked. It's like, can't make it up. All right, let's get to the NFL in 60.
Maggie and Perloff take you around the league, recapping this weekend's football action. Time for NFL in 60.
All right, EJ throws out a game. We'll give you the big recap. EJ, get us going.
Big recap this one. 20-17 in Germany. Panthers beat the Giants in overtime.
Tyrone Tracy wears it on this one. The rookie fumbled in overtime after the Giants had come back in this game. And you know what? It's better off for the Giants. They need to lose and lose big if they want to get another quarterback and be picking at the top of the draft.
I was shocked at one thing that happened. The NFL does not care. Anyone who says they care about concussions at all, Malik Neighbors got just clearly knocked out, was back 4 plays later, catching passes. His second one, remember, he missed 2 games already with a concussion. Like, he's Chris Olave part 2. I love him as a player, but man, do you have an issue there. Just saying. Throw that out there.
Oh. One other part. Bryce Young's now won 2 games in a row. Now, I don't think this means his future in Carolina is a certainty at all, but maybe he could be salvaged. Possibly.
Do you know how many yards he threw for yesterday?
130?
Close, 125. That's not an NFL performance. I guess against the Giants, no. If you try and salvage Bryce Young, then sell your Panthers. That's not happening. He could be a backup somewhere.
Let's go to Chicago, where the Patriots only needed 6 but got 19 and then went over the Bears 19-3.
Okay, everyone's blaming Eberflus, right? And Shane Waldron, and they might change play callers, is a report today. I honestly got to talk about when Caleb Williams does have a chance to throw. He doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look like himself. I'm just worried, and I'm going to spar something from you. Like, they're going to bring in a new coach next year. Like, there's no guarantee there either. Like, I think everyone thinks, it's all Eberflus. Like, it is hard to make a number 1 overall pick work. It does not always work, and I'm worried that Caleb Williams is just going to continue the lineage of futility at quarterback in Chicago.
Listen, bad team, not that the Bears have been horrible, but bad teams tend to stay bad for a reason. I'm surprised nobody's talking about 4 O-linemen got hurt, either before this game or during the game. They were down to all backups, basically.
But because it's looked bad 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, they've not gotten over the Hail Mary, clearly.
And besides, they're playing the Patriots on the road. How many secondary linemen should be able to beat that team? Like, was not a hard assignment. And the Patriots, I know they are not scary offensively. Like, that defense alone should have scored more than 3 points.
How's that Joe Flacco basket looking, Shane Steichen? You put all your eggs in it, and now you're 0-2 with him as a starter. Bills beat the Colts 30-20.
Yeah, by the way, taking it a little personally that so many people were picking the Colts in this game. I mean, that was... me, I'm pretty snake bitten here as a Bills fan. I was not worried about this game yesterday.
Oh, get out of here. Pull some audio of Maggie panicking about this game. There's no way you weren't worried about this game.
I was not, and I think the turning point of this game really was 2 bad holding penalties on the Bills back them up to 2nd and 19. And so Josh Allen just runs for 26 yards. And there you go. And just erases it all. And the Colts, I do not understand why Anthony Richardson never sees the field. You got 40-year-old Joe Flacco, a statue. Put Anthony Richardson in these short yardage situations. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, I feel like Josh Allen hurt himself a little bit MVP-wise. He just didn't. The MVP is mostly a touchdown and reception differential award.
Oh, because he threw another one yesterday?
He threw 2 picks yesterday and didn't get any touchdowns. Like, you got to be perfect to keep up with Lamar Jackson right now. And this is probably Josh Allen's best chance to do it because it's kind of a weakened field. I just don't know. Like, you really need amazing stats. And I think at a certain point, the Bills are going to, they got a little sloppy, you have to admit.
Yeah, their 2 top receivers were both gone yesterday.
Yeah, so
Deion Coleman and Amari Cooper both did not play. So
that's their 2 top receivers. Wow.
Yeah. Khalil Shakir, a difference maker, guys. What's next?
I put Shakir maybe above Coleman. No, you think Coleman's their top receiver or Kincaid above both of them? Anyway, yeah, but Josh Allen, his odds definitely fell pretty good on the MVP.
Listen, I care very little about that award.
It's kind of fun though.
Shout out to clogging toilets. Darren Rizzi gets his first win as head coach of the Saints. Saints 20, Falcons 17.
Does it feel like the Falcons are coasting to this division title? Like, they're winning just enough games, but like, I don't know. That was disappointing to me that they blew this game. The Saints gave them every opportunity to come back and just get that win. But I watched that game. I watched a lot of that game. It looked like the Saints were a better team, and Atlanta did not have urgency. So this is just another crap NFC South year where the team's going to win and go out pretty quickly.
Well, the Falcons already swept the season series against the Bucs, right? So they're winning the division.
The Bucs are not good right now.
And the Bucs just lost yesterday to the 49ers. MVS? Okay. I did not know that he was like going to do 3 catches for 109 yards type of explosive. Where'd that come from?
Randy Moss stat line over there.
Sheesh.
Let's go to Tampa, where Moody is booty. Not quite in at the end there. He did kick the game-winning field goal to help the Niners beat the Bucs 23-20.
Is there any team like by the Niners that just beats up teams, outgains them by 2-1 margin, and is always in the game at the end?
This is the 2024 49ers.
I think people talk about injuries too much. It is 100% special teams. I mean, every single game they do terrible things. Like Kyle Shanahan, like, why aren't you in that meeting every week, like yelling at people? Like,
maybe he is, and maybe he just still won't get better.
I don't know. I feel like they shouldn't be talking about anything else. I don't want to hear about Christian McCaffrey's health. I don't want to hear about anything else. I want to hear about fixing special teams. And also, by the way, shout out to Pearsall. First touchdown as a pro, beautiful play.
Great story.
Quite crazy. And man, do they need him now. So the Niners, once again, find a way to make it interesting.
Their kicker missed 3 kicks and 3 field goals, and their star wide receiver choked the long snapper. How are things going in San Francisco? They were lucky to win this game, and they got to be careful with Christian McCaffrey. He played 57 of the 65 total offensive snaps for 107 yards from scrimmage. Whatever happened to easing him in? I guess that's off the table.
I kind of disagree. They were lucky to win this game. Like it was going to be hard to lose that game to the Bucs. The Bucs without the receivers are one of the worst teams in the league.
They committed 3 personal fouls on the Bucs' last drive. They were lucky to win that game.
Well, I mean, yeah,
they kept the Bucs in it.
Yeah, the Bucs had that drive to tie it. I don't think the Bucs were going to score again. Like the Niners should have won that game by at least double digits. I mean, 3 field goals. I'm not sure how the Bucs got that last drive because Baker was completely ineffective. He has no one to throw to, Maggie.
Although he had that cool stiff arm on Nick Bosa.
This was probably the best game of the weekend. Steelers beat the Commanders 28-27. Controversial spotting call, penalty to end the game for the Commanders. A lot going on here.
Yeah, Johnny Newton jumping into the neutral zone, iced this thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who at first I thought were going to run away with it, but then good job by the Commanders to get back into the game and make it a game. Who said it earlier? Big Dave. Russell Wilson is clearly the choice here. He's definitely the answer. And pretty catch from George Pickens. Pretty catch from Mike Williams. They do just enough, Perloff. The Steelers do just enough.
Yeah, but how confident you feel when they face the Ravens next week? I don't know how good the Steelers team is. I mean, the play of the game that kept I think the reason the Commanders when the James Pierre dropped the fake punt deep in Steelers territory. It almost killed Danny Smith, the special teams coach. Did you see that play? That was like that opened the door because you're right, they were killing Washington. Then they tried to fake punt it deep in their own territory. A guy dropped a wide open, what would have been a 40-yard gain.
It was a stupid time to try that punt.
I don't know. It kind of worked. He was standing wide open. There was no one anywhere near him, and the guy, James Pierre, just panicked. I'm not sure. Danny Smith is like the special teams coach du jour on Pittsburgh, so I don't know if it was a stupid play.
And EJ, you mentioned the controversial spot. That was the 4th and 9, Daniels to Zach Ertz, where he was short of the first down line, but it took about a half hour for them to get the replay. And even still, I'm not sure that they got it right.
I agree. I thought the momentum of the ball took him over the line, and I didn't even think it was that close.
3 picks was not enough for the Jaguars to overcome Sam Darnold. The Vikings beat the Jags 12-7. Weird uniform for the Jaguars.
Yeah, hometown hero Mac Jones is apparently not living up to the role. The Jaguars have quit on Doug Peterson. Now, my question coming out of that game is the Vikings improved to 7-2, and if I'm a Vikings fan, I am panicking. Like, that was the thinnest, most unimpressive win I've seen probably all NFL season.
Listen, I'm not saying I told you so. I'm just saying I don't know if Sam Darnold's going to be the guy to get you home. That's all I'm saying. And apparently the color on the helmets, EJ, they said it was called seashell white or something. It's a nod to the beaches.
Jacksonville Beach.
Yeah.
But they combined it with that dark black jersey. That was weird and interesting.
They like an NFL team.
Yeah.
It was a little odd.
I like the helmets.
You liked them?
It's one of those things where I think if they were a winning team, we all would like the jersey a lot better. Let's go to
Can't wait for Belichick to get there.
Let's go to the 4:00 games. Let's head to LA where the Chargers just keep winning. And I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but they did beat the Titans 27-17.
Chargers are a good team, but it's kind of hard to tell because the Titans are just so bad. The Titans can score on their opening drive of the game and the opening drive of the second half. And outside of that, they've got absolutely bubkiss.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers are really hard to evaluate because they have the formula. Great defense. Like, their defense is balling out, but you haven't seen them against a good offense. And, you got enough with Herbert and the run game. I really want to see them play the Chiefs because will this defense translate? They were doing the graphic, Maggie, the Jim Harbaugh bump that we talked about in the preseason, but it's so weird because they've beaten such bad quarterbacks again and again and again.
So they lost to the Chiefs 17-10 earlier in the season, but Herbert was banged up. They will get the Chiefs again December 8th. That's going to be a Sunday night game. So that's going to be and they get the Bengals next weekend, so that's going to be fun. That's also that's Monday night.
They flexed that one, right?
Maybe. Is that right?
Yeah, I think they took my Eagles out of Sunday night. I think that was the first flex of the season, but I will double check that.
Speaking of the Eagles, who would have thought the sun was going to be their secret weapon, but it worked against the Cowboys. Philly beats down on Dallas 34-6.
There's a clip after the game. Jalen Hurts is going into the locker room, and he gets a huge hug from Howie Roseman, the GM, and a huge hug from the owner, Jeffrey Lurie. There's a sense of relief that the Eagles aren't terrible. That is how I would describe them. Like, I just think that this team was teetering at 2-2. I'm not kidding. I know people are saying the Eagles fans are too negative. It was teetering, and it looks like they fixed it. There's 2 MVPs on this team to me. There's Saquon Barkley and there's A.J. Brown, and the 2 work in tandem because you pick your poison.
Yep.
You either try and stop A.J. or you try and stop Barkley. It's been tough to do both.
This is a Cowboys free fall that we're watching here. Dak Prescott's got the season-ending hamstring surgery, likely, or it's either going to be surgery that ends the season or just the injury ends the season. We'll find out for sure later today. The fact that CeeDee Lamb is complaining about the sun and then Jerry Jones is saying stop complaining because everyone knows where the sun is going to be in the afternoon in Dallas. It's just,
Shut up about the sun. Shut up about the sun.
It's just so colossally stupid. And when I say stupid, I mean that they play with the sun in their eyes. I'm actually with CeeDee Lamb on this one. What do you care more about? But you can put curtains up in the stadium, but Jerry is so stubborn that he won't do it. Do you want to win games or do you want it to look cool? I think we all know the answer.
This team isn't looking cool. How about the Jets? They lose to the Cardinals 31-6. 2 rushing touchdowns for Kyler Murray.
Well, I can't even say it was fun while it lasted with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets this season. There's been nothing fun about this, and it didn't last very long. And so now he and Devontae Adams, is he still living at his house? This has got to be the most awkward roommate situation. I don't care if it's a mansion or if it's a 2-bedroom apartment. Like, you're going to find a way to cross each other, like at midnight or getting a snack in the kitchen. Like, it's going to be bad. It's probably going to permanently ruin their friendship, I would imagine.
I don't think that they have problems with each other. At least he targeted him a million times. Who's mad at who?
Well, I just think that it's not working out. Like, whatever the hand signals that they were supposed to know aren't working because he had 13 targets and had 6 catches for 31 yards.
And that being said, the defense was overwhelmingly the biggest problem. Like Kyler Murray, who is not. The Arizona Cardinals are not the greatest show on turf. Like, they're pretty conservative offense, and they made the Jets look like Swiss cheese.
And finally, Sunday Nighter, 5 picks from Jared Goff. Doesn't matter. Goff says he played well, and who could blame him? Lions win 26-23 on a game-winning field goal by Jake Bates.
Once again, Maggie and I see this game differently. I said, you just saw the formula to beat the Lions. And Maggie, you say the grit. Like, you stack the box and you stop them from running and put it on Jared Goff, and who knows what's going to happen.
That's all well and good, but there's a formula. It was working until it wasn't. And now maybe that had more to do with the Texans and how they just basically go completely silent in the second half, and it's become a trend. But I don't know. I saw the Lions in a dire situation where they couldn't get a lot going at all, and the defense continued to step up, and they somehow found a way to win a game on the road. I'm impressed with what they did last week against Green Bay and this week against the Texans. And the Texans have a problem in the second half. They do.
Do you trust Jared Goff if the game is on his shoulders in like a playoff game?
No, I don't. I never did.
Yeah, I know, but they've seemed to they're like the number 1 running back team in the league, and just like you saw it, man, the Texans were stuffing them yesterday until Gibbs got off at the end. So I'm a little bit worried because right now my Lions are my favorite team. I'm going to say it right now, I like them more than I like the Eagles. I love Dan Campbell's post-game speech once again. Perfect. They're just lovable. Aaron Glenn pregame interview. I want him to be my coach. Like, I love everything about this team, but I just don't want Jared Goff throwing the ball so much. And they came out last night, pass, and it was nothing but trouble.
855-212-4227. So that's the NFL in 60. Every game recapped in 60 seconds. Coming up, we've been teasing all morning. We've got it for you next. Of ranking the definitive list of who blew it this weekend. We'll tell you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff.
Sounds like my Saturday.
Yeah. All right, so Maggie, fresh off a weekend of raving.
Yeah, I went to a rave. Found myself at a rave. I didn't know it was going to be that ravey. You know, I'm like 40. This isn't like rave age. But
so, was it a club? What was it?
Yeah, it was like a rave at a club in Washington, D.C. I was there for my best friend's birthday. But here's the thing. The rave was at 5:30 in the afternoon. Kids today, I'm telling you, the way kids like in their 20s party now, it's like they figured it out. No one's out late. No one's drinking a lot either. I don't know what kind of drugs people are on. I was on zero, just there for the music. But Bogish is joining us. We can see him on Zoom. You just did like a little fist pump in the air. I was told at this rave by people in their 20s that how you can spot the millennials in the crowd is if you have your hands in the air. Apparently that's a no-no with a 20-something set. So I'm going to save you some embarrassment if you find yourself at a rave. Hands to your sides.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to find myself at a rave, but thank you for preventing me from looking uncool in another way.
Mm-hmm. Like you're holding suitcases.
Yeah. And by the way, you were there for the music? Yeah. I'm there for the articles. Good call.
It was very fun.
Also questioning how young this crowd is.
They were like 20s. We were there with a couple people who are 25 and 28.
Listen, I've been to a bunch of old folks' home parties. They usually start around 5 p.m. as well. I don't know, Maggie. I'm a little skeptical.
I'll tell you what. We just kept looking at each other like, can you believe it's 5:30?
I'm not sure
Feels like 2 a.m.
I'm not sure all of America is into that sober dance party kind of thing. I just think there's another world.
I never said anyone was sober. I just said they weren't drinking alcohol.
Isn't that like a big thing now, like the morning dance party? It sounds like, I just feel like that is a particular set of people. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like if you want to party, you could still party in this great country of ours.
Partying undefeated.
Yeah. Just think that everybody's raving at 5:30 in the afternoon in Washington, D.C. I'm not sure that is a accurate finger on the pulse of America right now.
Probably not.
But is it possible that they were raving at 5:30 p.m. from Friday night? They were still finishing their Friday while you're beginning your Saturday?
Just a little all the way through breakfast, lunch, and dinner, maybe.
Exactly.
It was fun. Okay, Bo, stand by for 1 second. We've got to do our definitive ranking of who blew it this weekend because we kind of felt like that was the theme of the weekend.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities.
No doubt. All right, let's get a little music going. Hands down, Bogues. You're going to embarrass us. Okay, I have my top 5.
Go.
In order from most forgivable to least forgivable. 5th on the list of who blew it the most, I'm going to give it to the Giants running back Tyrone Tracy, who fumbled in overtime, totally cost the Giants a win. However, it's probably better for the Giants to lose now for their draft positioning, so that's why he's 5 on the list. Number 4 on the list of people who blew it this weekend. The officials in the Utah-BYU game who gave BYU a controversial roughing the passer call on a 4th and 10 backed up in their own end zone. BYU ends up kicking a game-winning field goal. The officials were just wrong, Perloff, and they handed Utah a loss that they did not deserve.
That was, and especially a rivalry game like that. That's just, you hate to see it.
It was terrible. Number 3 on my list of people who blew it this weekend, I'm going to go with the Bucs. They left way too much time for the San Francisco 49ers on that final drive where the Niners kept giving them penalties and kept handing them points. And you know what? It was just too much time. They should have gone to overtime rather than allowing the San Francisco 49ers to kick a game-winning field goal.
Yeah. I don't know if blew it because they really shouldn't have even been in the game, but yes.
Number 2 on my list of people who blew it this weekend, Johnny Newton of the Commanders. The rookie jumped into the neutral zone, which gave the Pittsburgh Steelers a first down. It gave the Pittsburgh Steelers the win. And because of the Commanders' loss and the Eagles' win, the Commanders are no longer in first place in the NFC East. Tough day for rookie Johnny Newton. And the number 1 person, people, and team who blew it over the weekend was Brian Kelly and LSU having absolutely no answer for yet another running quarterback, this time Jalen Milroe, who basically rushed for almost 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. So really 185 and 4 touchdowns in that game, coming off of a loss to Texas A&M from 2 weeks ago, where Texas A&M put in a running quarterback in Marcel Reed. You know Jalen Milroe is going to run the ball. You had an extra week to prepare, and you got absolutely smoked in the Bayou at night. No excuse. They blew it as hard as any person this weekend.
Yeah, but are you sure they're not just a worse team? I mean, they did lose the Heisman Trophy winner.
What was the spread on the game?
I mean, yeah, but still, like, I'm not sure if they blew it. I think, like, I watched that game and I was like, wow, Alabama's a way better team.
Alabama hasn't played like a way better team,
like,
quite frankly.
We always talk about Brian Kelly and LSU like they're on the brink of something. I'm not sure this is ever going to happen. I think we just like going on reputation a little bit for them. All right, my blew it rankings. Number 5, I already mentioned him. The Steelers special teams player who dropped that fake punt pass. That was the most painful. That literally was the most painful moment of the weekend. It was deep in the own Steelers territory. He was standing there wide open. They hit him right in the numbers. He dropped it. Their special teams coach, the now famous Danny Smith, almost had a heart attack on the sideline. Okay, number 4, Atlanta Falcons. The New Orleans Saints were trying so desperately to hand them a win. Alvin Kamara dropped a ball at the end of the game that would have sealed the win for the Saints. And the Falcons had so many chances. They finally they ran out of time. They had a choice between a 60-yard field goal or going for it on 4th down, and they ran the weakest play on 4th down. Lost the game. I don't know if it matters, but they totally blew that. Number 3, EJ, you thought you were going to skate. Skate. Let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes. You're facing a Georgia Tech team that does not have a quarterback. When you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. When you have to bring in a quarterback on throwing downs, you're in big trouble with your quarterback. And Miami's defense is so bad, they still let Georgia Tech score 28 points. Dude, what's going on?
You had answers for me? I have none. This is what they've been all season.
My answer, they blew it. Number 2, Texans, 5 picks. We've been talking about it all game. 5 picks and you lose the game. That's definitely is definition of blow it. And of course, the number 1. I mean, this all came out. But the Denver Broncos blew it. They probably blew their chance to make the playoffs by not blocking a single soul. There were 7 guys who could have blocked that field. Isn't that hard, Maggie, to hit a 30? That's an extra point. It was a 35-yard field goal attempt to finally knock off the Chiefs, and Mike Dana got the block, but it could have been 4 other guys. I don't understand. I just don't understand what happened.
It's Chiefs magic.
Chiefs magic. Like, where was the Broncos offensive line? They did. I actually watched the play again. I'm like, did they use leverage to jump over somebody or cheat? Nope. They just ran right through the line, and everybody just blocked the kick. Anyway,
like
that's the number
millennials
one
at a
blow.
rave. Hands up.
Yeah, exactly.
Blocking field goals. All right, so there's your definitive lists of who blew it. We'll put them out on social media, too, at Maggie and Pearl on X. Andrew Bogish has headlines for us on this lovely Monday.
I definitely don't need to see you tongue-kissing.
Where does Manny find this stuff?
Raves. CJ Stroud could not have played much better in the first half of Sunday Night Football. Beautiful throw after beautiful throw. His offense scoring on his first 4 possessions eventually led 23-7 at the break. And then they didn't score again. Head coach DeMeco Ryans not sure what happened.
To come out and turn the ball over the first play of the second half and to get in the red zone where we have points and to turn the ball over, that's not winning football.
Yep, 2 picks of Stroud in the third quarter. The second one should have been a touchdown that put Houston up 30-13. Instead, the Lions clawed their way to a 26-23 victory on Jake Bates' 52-yard field goal as time expired. They are the first team since 1970 to win despite trailing by 15-plus points, and their QB throwing 5 picks. Dan Campbell on winning from behind.
When you get in that one, you're playing the long game. You know, you got to do it one possession at a time and just find a way to get this thing all the way down to the end of the game, because you're not going to be able to do it as far down as we were. You're not going to be able to do it within just, a couple of possessions.
Jared Goff had 4 picks entering the night, then the 5 last night. One of them was a Hail Mary before halftime. The other 4 were very legit. The Texans have now lost back-to-back games, but keep a 2-game edge on the Colts in the AFC South. Indy a 30-20 home loser to the Bills. Joe Flacco, 5 turnovers, but remains their starter. The Eagles now on a 5-game win streak after rolling through Dallas 34-6. It's 4 in a row for the Cardinals and the Steelers after routing the Jets and sneaking past the Commanders. And the Chargers on a 3-game streak with Justin Herbert looking nimble yesterday.
Herbert rolling to the right, and here he goes, Herbert into the end zone. Touchdown, Chargers.
Matt Money Smith, Chargers Radio, LA down Tennessee 27-17. Herbert ran for that score and threw for another. The Saints 7-game skid ending 2017 over the Falcons. That was New Orleans' first game since firing Dennis Allen. Atlanta missed 3 field goals in that one. Kirk Cousins was picked off late, and their last drive ended with a 4th down stop. In the NBA, there's Nikola Jokic, 37 points, 18 rebounds, 15 assists. In the Nuggets, 122-120 win over the Mavs. And there's Nikola Jovic in Miami.
Here comes the snap inside. Nico puts it up and in, and he got fouled. 7.8 seconds to go. Nico will be at the line with an opportunity to take the lead.
Jason Jackson, Heat Radio. Jovic hit that free throw. Miami won in Minnesota 95-94. Thunder forward Chet Holmgren is out at least 2 months after breaking his right hip in a fall in last night's 127-116 loss to the Warriors. Steph Curry scored 36. His team's won 6 of 7. And the Lakers are 5-0 at home after downing the Raptors 123-103. But Anthony Davis left in the third quarter after getting poked in the eye. Florida State football's 1-9 disaster now costing dudes their jobs. Offensive coordinator Alex Atkins, DC Adam Fuller, and wide receivers coach Ron Dugans all got the boot yesterday. And I'll tack on to Maggie's mention of the officials from Utah BYU. Utes AD Mark Harlan sat down post-game, ripped those refs, saying at one point he was no longer happy to be a Big 12 member. That rant got him a $40,000 fine yesterday. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, where else are you going to go? The Pac-12 is gone.
Yeah. It was a unique complaint, though. I thought this is I used to like being in the Big 12, and I already don't. It was a pretty quick turnabout.
It really was a shame. I mean, listen, the BYU story has been really great. They're undefeated, but it's like you also just have to call the game on the field. And the officials did not do that.
Listen, I mean, when all this conference realignment was going on, we all said the same thing. It's like now BYU is going to take over the Big 12 and SMU is going to take over the ACC. Right? No, I just think it's so funny. In this first year, you have these two random teams atop these new conferences. It's great. It's fun for chaos. It would have really messed things up if Utah had beaten BYU.
But that's what happened. They did, basically. They did.
It kind of makes you a little easier on the brain because if BYU had lost and like the committee tomorrow night comes out with their 12 teams, like what they do with the Big 12 is anyone's guess if BYU loses. And BYU obviously showed they could lose. They are not running this thing out for sure.
Utah has another opportunity in front of them. They could try to play spoiler against Colorado, who they're going to play this weekend. Colorado is the second highest ranked Big 12 team in the AP Top 25. So if they win out and BYU wins out, then they Big 12 title game. This means Deion Sanders could be in the college football playoff year 2 at Colorado. Now, that would be something.
Do you believe that?
There's one person we forgot to mention in the blowout rankings. We're letting them skate and slide. Not any longer. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Theme of the weekend is how many teams blew it. I mean, I hope that's not mistaken for not giving credit to the teams who won, but Perloff, there just did feel like there were some teams who either had it, let it slip away. I mean, the poster child, Denver Broncos, who have a field goal blocked when they were on their way to beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead. And that never happened.
Or you could say having 5 picks in a game and losing.
Last night, Houston Texans, they intercept Jared Goff 5 times, yet lose. It's tough to do. A team that I don't know if they necessarily belong in this category, but it was a bad loss for them, which is Georgia. Georgia goes on the road, Perloff at the Grove, Ole Miss, 28-10, and it never really felt close. And Carson Beck, it's weird to say this. He actually played a little bit better than he has because the rock bottom for him was 11 interceptions over a 5-game span. But he played a little bit better, but they were still anemic on offense. This Georgia team just does not look like years past.
Yeah, I mean, they lead the country in drops by a mile, too. So that's a little bit of an out for Beck. You know, I'm not sure if they blew it or just in the new college football, it's really hard, especially to win on the road in the SEC. Like, same things happen to Alabama. You can't stack 5 stars 4 deep, so you're gonna be closer to the pack in the SEC, and that means you're gonna lose some road games. I still think Georgia could go into the college football playoff and be favored and beat pretty much anybody. I mean, you saw they destroyed Texas. So, I mean, yeah, but like, how do you know? Like, 1 week to the next, you have no idea. They're gonna host Tennessee. They're probably gonna win that game, and they're probably gonna have a decent. I mean, because Tennessee does not look explosive at all.
No, their offense is really down.
Their defense looks really good. But I'm just saying, like, I just think that's a new reality. Teams like Georgia and Alabama are in the pack, and they go out on these. You saw how much of a target they were at that game. I felt the crowd was just going to explode. There was so much excitement in that building. So I'm not saying they blew it necessarily. I think it's just really hard to win games like that now.
I'm going to be honest. At one point, Jackson Dart got knocked out of the game for Ole Miss, and Austin Simmons came in, and he would have beaten them. He looked awesome.
But he would have beaten him. Yeah, that guy looks like he's going to be a number 1 pick in the NFL.
Right, so you're acting like, he's like, you can't stack talent anymore. Well, either of the quarterbacks from Ole Miss would have beaten Georgia on Saturday afternoon. I mean, that's saying something.
I didn't think there was any drop-off at all from...
No,
honestly, I kind of thought because Jackson Dart was so compromised, I thought they should have gone with the other guy who looked really, really good in a brief... And I'm sure I actually don't know much about him. I'm sure he's a 5.5-star quarterback.
I bet. 855-212-4227. That's the theme of the weekend, teams that blew it. George is in Los Angeles, wants to talk about the Monday night matchup, Rams hosting the Miami Dolphins. George, how you feeling?
Good morning, Maggie and Perloff. I don't know why people are trying to pick Miami. I think the Rams will take them quite convincingly. I think they got most of their offensive line back. This is the healthiest the Rams have been in the last 10 weeks, and they're on a roll of their own, and I don't see this being a close game at all.
So I took the Rams in this game, George, because I was thinking like you were thinking. I didn't really understand why the Rams were a 1-point favorite when I made the bet on Friday. They've now moved to 2.5.
Yeah, it's a strange line. The old Tua is going to come back. I'm not sure that Miami team still exists anymore.
No, and George, thank you, and thanks for holding on, pal. The one thing is, I know this is crazy because it was not even the same team. Do you remember last year? Was it last year when Tua really battled the Chargers in the opener?
No.
I don't know. There's nothing about this that makes any sense to me. So I couldn't. I'm like, maybe he's good in that stadium. I have no idea.
Well, but I'm really interested to see now. It's a great point by George. Now that O-line is back, are they going to compete for the NFC West, which you got sort of a three-headed monster in Seattle, talent-wise, is right there when DK comes back, too. That's actually a wild division.
Totally. And the fact that the Cardinals are leading it is amazing. We're not sure if the Cardinals are any good. So
I mean, they're definitely good. Are they better than the Rams and the Niners? I think now that's the question. We've moved the question. I don't think so. I still think both those teams are better than the Cardinals, but God, I'm sick of betting against the Cardinals, Maggie. I'm saying mean things about them, watching James Conner and Kyler Murray just be really tough.
Man, what a weekend it was. And we got this good game tonight. It's kind of a big one for me. I need to win this bet to be over 500 for the week.
I was like, hey.
I was going to say, I'm not sure that's going to get America engaged in this game.
Can we also call it now, though? Now that the Chiefs have moved to 9-0, they blocked the Denver Broncos field goal, which we were just mentioning. Undefeated season, which I believed was always a possibility. I'm not backing off of that.
Okay, what are the stakes?
Well, I wanted to propose something to you.
Okay.
And see if maybe you'd be into this.
All right.
I've got a bet out there that I have not paid off yet, but I'm going to. Because I stupidly thought the Cowboys would not sign Dak Prescott. I thought they would leave their options open. And turns out I was probably right about that. But anyway, I had to go to a Waffle House and eat 24 hours worth of waffles. Would you take my place and go and eat the waffles if the Chiefs pull off the undefeated regular season?
Okay.
Right? Just the regular season. Playoffs, I'm not asking for the Dolphins here. I'm just asking for the regular season.
Okay. And say they lose, then it's double or nothing. What's the double?
I don't know yet.
Can I invent one?
No.
Because you can't just, I don't think they're going to go undefeated. So I feel comfortable in that. But I need you to double your punishment. And that's the nature of a double or nothing bet.
I know, but I really just want you to do this waffle thing for me because I don't want to do it. And this is my Hail Mary that I need the Chiefs to go undefeated, which
they are 9-0 and they are the two-time defending champion.
Tyreek Davidson doesn't work on this show, Maggie. I don't think this Hail Mary's working for you.
Well, are you so nervous about this? You should just say, Andrew, I will let you decide the double or nothing punishment and just put your faith in me.
I don't trust
I'm not going to make you shave an eyebrow. What do you think I'm going to do?
You might.
I would never make you shave one eyebrow, maybe both.
To even it out?
No. I think you should trust me and say, I trust you. We've been doing the show now for a while, and I think you will come up with a good double or nothing punishment.
No, because somehow I got tuna fish jellied the last time, and I don't want to do that.
That was bad.
Tuna fish jelly with the green olives in it. I'm not right since then. I'm a different person. Haven't you noticed? I'm permanently changed.
There are certain foods you stay away from.
It's like that's core now.
Just to be clear, you don't like tuna fish jello with a little cottage cheese mixed in, Maggie? After a weekend of partying at an EDM club? Actually, I guess you weren't really partying.
That was sweet.
No, I went to a rave that was at 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, did you come home and eat jello afterwards?
No, I went to a fancy restaurant and I was asleep by 11.
Love it.
Yeah, that was the wild weekend, but it was great.
If we're getting real diabolical, maybe the double or nothing should be that you drive to San Antonio.
No, I can't. For the breakfast tacos and to apologize to Wembanyama when I never said anything bad about Wemby.
Saying.
I can't do a road trip. Perloff, I'll end up like on the side of the road.
But you can't just be like, well, if they go undefeated, then Perloff, you have to do it. Like you have to put something on the line. When bust Jama? What if you think of the punishment?
All right, give me a little bit more time. I thought maybe you'd jump at it.
Who do the Chiefs get next?
The Bills.
Yeah, they
in
might.
Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, what's the spread?
I didn't even look.
I feel like the Chiefs might actually win that game, but they are definitely not getting up for their lesser opponents. They are toying with their food.
To be honest, I'm taking a page from you now because we've been sitting next to each other doing the show for a couple years. There's like a part of me that thinks whoever loses this game will win the rematch.
Oh, yeah. You
Because it's so hard to beat a team twice.
You definitely don't want to win this regular season game.
I know. You're in my head now with that stuff. Thank you, DJ Stewart. Thank you to Manny Rodriguez. Thank you to Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan, Weedo's Coffee Drinkers. You guys are the best. See you tomorrow.
You're in a 5-minute break.